What's going on, everybody? This is Royal Dude Lorenzo, and we are back for season 6. I mean 5
Season 6? Bruh.
of the
What a
Inkling
start.
Brothers podcast.
What a start. You don't even have to say it like that.
Ray, what is your issue with me? This entire day we've just been going at it with each other.
No. First of all, I said that earlier to you. Secondly, you've never started a podcast this dramatically, so I don't know why we're changing it up because we're coming back.
How's it going, everyone? I am Royal Dude Lorenzo. I am the blue squid here on the Inkling Brothers podcast.
My name is Ray, also known as Meatloaf Man. I'm the purple squid here on the Inkling Brothers podcast.
And I'm Eric. I think that's how it went.
Yeah, that is how it went! Yeah! The last
Surprisingly,
time
we're doing this again.
The last time we did this was 2 years ago, everybody. No, sorry, it's not 2 years. It's been a year and a half. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a year and a half.
So
Only a year.
I wanted to tell the audience, we're sorry.
Shut up.
All right, you don't need to.
The last episode we did was, I think,
we have a consistent audience anyway.
In December of 2020 was the last time that we did this, and it was fun. And then, life decided to kick us all in the asses. So, yeah, but here we are now, and we're getting right back to it.
A lot has happened.
A lot has happened. Both Eric and I have, and Ray too, actually, all three of us have started new jobs. So we have a little more time and money for ourselves, which is fun, It's been cool.
For sure.
Who wants to start with what the hell we've been doing?
Living? Trying to, at least.
Breathing?
Oh my god, are you guys okay?
I mean,
you live in the U.S. What do you think?
Basic bodily functions, we breathe to live, Lawrence. Do we not?
Oh my god. Okay, Eric, go first.
The people listening right now are breathing.
How do you know?
Because they're listening to us.
Mm-hmm. Eric, go ahead.
I mean, I've been doing fine, despite sounding like I'm about to die half the time. Yeah, I mean, I graduated grad school. Found a job.
Woo!
Doing that.
Woo!
And then just taking it day by day currently. Just still at that job. And just doing the usual stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ray?
I've been good as well. Got a job again. It's been fairly decent. A lot of good people I'm working with. Some days are better than others, but I'm getting through all of it. Been doing some traveling around, not too far away places, but just to places in the States I haven't been before. I finally got on a plane again for the first time in over 20 years. I have not previously been on one since my family and I went to Key West, which was I think when I was 3 or 4 years old. So that was way back in late 90s, I want to say. I have vague memories of that plane ride over, but beyond that, yeah, it was just a very interesting experience just being on a flight again for all that time later. Alone, I might add. Neither of the guys were with me. I went down to TrotCon in Ohio, which is a My Little Pony fan convention. And I met up with some online friends of mine, and it was really cool. Got to spend a few days with them. And yeah, pretty memorable weekend. And of course, over here in the city, did some cons with the guys as well. But Lawrence can probably talk a little bit more about that when he gets to it.
Wow, look at you. Both of you guys brag about it.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I've been through a couple jobs in the last 2 years, pretty much, or 3 jobs actually. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a bad worker. I promise you guys. It's just extenuating circumstances. Things have been okay. Finished up my bachelor's degree. If you guys don't remember, the last time we did this, I was actually finishing up my bachelor's. Now I'm finishing up my master's, but like the master's hasn't been like so uh, heavy on me as of late, thankfully, um, and which has been cool. Um, I think also, um, I did a little bit of traveling last year. I went to Boston a few times. We're not going to talk about why. Um, I went to Portland, Maine, which was really fun. Um, Also for training, but at the same time was really fun. I had a good time there. Um, and I went to a couple concerts and comedy shows and Broadway shows in the last couple of months, which have been really cool. I saw Phantom of the Opera. I saw Lion King for the second time in my life. It hasn't changed. um, I saw this Broadway show called Take Me Out, which is like also was really cool. Um, and I saw Dear Evan Hansen also very recently, which was really nice. Um, I went to go see The Script like last week. Um, yeah, I think it's all just been really fun. Um, I'm actually having so far so good. I actually just started the new job this week, so it's been
Congrats.
very thank you. It's been fun. It's been relaxing. I'm working from home now, so been able to really find that like nice quiet balance in my life. Um, so, just been working on a bunch of home projects, still working on the sneaker stuff is still around. Last time you guys remember, I was still working on that. Oh, the other thing, and Ray did not neglect. I neglected, but Ray mentioned it.
Ray, why did you neglect that?
You're about to throw me under the bus for a second.
I'm like, Jesus. At least let him write it before you throw him under it.
Oh my god. Um, many years ago, 3 years ago, I started a photography company called LCAP, or LCA Photo NYC. And just the last year, we've grown so much. Just the last 6 months, actually, even we've grown so much. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna say like I'm like super like famous. We're famous or anything. We have over 150 followers on Instagram, which is way more than what I originally had, which was like 40. Um, and we're working with like 5 or 6 different professional clients, which have been really cool. Um, we were invited to Castle Point Anime Con. So if you're seeing this by the time this podcast comes out, hopefully, we are at CPAC. So it's been fun. I'm so sorry to the editor of this video. It's not me, so I am so sorry to you in the future. That you're gonna probably have to work on this pretty fast so we can get it out by CPAC. Thanks, Ray. Anyways, um, so we,
The bus just doesn't stop at 100.
I want you to put
This bus got 12 more stops, Ray. Buckle in.
Ray, I need you to put the Magic School Bus on the thumbnail.
Listen, we're keeping the
Why
thumbnail
that
simple,
one?
so I'm like,
Because it has a face and it's anyways.
Does it really?
Lawrence
have
is
a
throwing
face?
me under it.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I was not a Magic School Bus kid, so hearing that it had a face is news to me.
Really? I thought you and Lin-Manuel Miranda were friends. He did the recent Magic School Bus.
Shut up!
Gosh.
Oh yeah, you're right, he does have a face. I'm looking at like the original animated show from the 90s, and yeah, he has a face.
So yeah.
Sorry, you were saying, Lawrence?
The photography company has grown a lot. So hopefully you guys will see us at various conventions. So we're rebranding kind of like the Inkling Bro. The Inkling Bros are staying the same, but we're rebranding the photography part of it to kind of fit our needs. So like for example, we still have my company, which does the photography side. Eddie or Darkness or WolfX23, if you guys know him, he has his own photography and media company. And Isaac, who is not here, this step 3.5 or 3B or whatever. I don't.
Step 3D, that's what it's called.
Yeah, he's not here, so
Or Step 4DX.
yeah. So it looks like we're he has his own thing too, also with the ramen pack. So it might seem we're all kind of separated, but we're not. We're just operating under different umbrellas in order to guarantee that we're all like gonna like make it to the conventions and be able to kind of spread our branding. Hopefully, in the future,
Right.
we'll be able to kind of put everything together, but that's a talk for another day. We're not here to talk about that, though. But I appreciate you guys listening this far. If you guys are listening, go ahead and give us a thumbs up for listening to my spiel and these guys' spiel. But now that we've caught up, let's talk. Let's talk a little things that we've been up to other than like life updates. I want to know. I want to know more about you guys. Okay?
Who wants to know more about us, even though we've been friends for like over 10 years at this point?
Well, I've been friends with him for 8 years, so
Well,
not
it's
10
almost
yet.
10 years, Eric, okay?
Yeah, in fairness, that's almost 10 years.
I was just clarifying.
No, okay, so let's talk some media, guys. What have we been listening to or watching or like playing as of recently? I know Eric, you just finished Elden Ring today.
Yeah, literally, like 5 hours ago, I finished Elden Ring. It was
Congrats.
a lot of fun. I really liked it. I spent 138 hours in that game because I was very meticulous and thorough when I was exploring. But that game definitely gets a hearty recommendation from me. I really liked it overall. It's if you like previous FromSoft games, I think you'll definitely like this one, although it is different, like it has a different feel to it in a way, because if in case you didn't know, it's essentially sort of like a Souls game, but it's open world. And with that comes a different feel because there's a lot more downtime in that game, and it's also just a much longer game in general. Like with a regular Souls game, you can beat that in like 10 hours or something if you're really good at it, like if you've played it before. Whereas with Elden Ring, like my first playthrough, like I said, was almost 140 hours, but it felt like a very natural evolution of the series to me from Dark Souls 1, because Dark Souls 1, one of the coolest things about that game is that the world of that game was very interconnected, and finding all these cool shortcuts to get to places you've been to before was just a really cool feeling. And that sort of interconnected feeling is present in Elden Ring as well, except now it's on a much bigger scale because you have this big ass open world. And it was pretty neat in that regard. And obviously, shortcuts play less of a part in the open world, but in the various dungeons you can find in the game, at least the legacy dungeons, there's a lot of like shortcuts you can unlock, which was really neat. It had that same sort of feel once you get into the much more intricately designed dungeons. Like one dungeon in the fourth region, Lindell, was very much similar to, I want to say, Yarnum from Bloodborne, for anyone who's played that, with all the cool shortcuts you can unlock and everything. But yeah, overall, great game. Really liked it. For those wondering, I got the Ronnie ending. There's 3 endings in the game, although one of them technically has 4 variants to it. And one of the others is a secret bad ending, which is like the coolest thing to me. Because usually, like, a secret ending is like this true ending that you have to really work towards. But in this one, there's a really hidden ending. It's just the worst ending. Like, the world is just left to shit if you do that, which was pretty cool. I'll probably do that ending next. Honestly, the next time I play the game again. But it's very much a FromSoft game, but open world. So if you like FromSoft games, you'll like it. Combat is, like I said, if you aren't a fan of FromSoft games, I don't know if this will change your opinion, but I do think it's one of the more accessible games in the series that they've done because it's open world. So by the nature of it, if you're say stuck on this one boss, you can just go do something else and come back to it later once you're more powered up. And I know I had to do that a lot. And there's even various other things that I think will help newcomers if they want to dive into it. Like some mechanics like the Spirit Ash mechanic, which is essentially like a co-op buddy that's AI controlled, and you just summon it with your mana or your HP, and it helps you during boss fights. And I use that plenty of times. So it's if you're interested and you've never played a FromSoft game, I do think this one is fairly approachable. But yeah, that's I don't want to spend like 8 hours talking about it, even though I guess I probably could because I do like the game a lot. Because looking back on those older podcasts, as much as I still am a big like Fate fan and whatnot, I spent an absurd amount of time talking about that. When this is
I
supposed
don't
to be,
think it was absurd.
I mean, it's supposed to be like a variety podcast, I think, right? And we're like, who we focus on. I mean, I guess it's not.
But
yeah.
we
I guess it's not a
we
bad thing,
called
but
it
yeah.
the Fate episode for a reason.
Yo, honestly
geez.
though, Eric, at least when people question like how much of a fan of Fate you are or like your knowledge on the franchise, you can just show them that episode and then
Show them that where I
that's
talk
the
about
proof right
just
there,
the
like-
VN for like 2 hours. Yeah.
you can show them you're not a fake ass fan.
In my head, I literally thought that you were gonna say, Ray, is like, if anyone ever questions you, fuck them. And I'm like, wow. Wow.
Ray's super supportive. But I mean,
I'm so sorry, Ray. I promise. We're not trying to throw you under the bus. It's just your reaction.
okay, whoa, where's this we thing? I haven't done anything to the guy.
What's this we stuff?
But reaction.
I mean, it's Lawrence
his,
over here.
His
like,
reaction.
Oh, we are putting him under the bus.
The reaction is just your reactions today have just been off the charts, and it's just been so funny. I'm so sorry, but keep going.
It's like, I mean, that's, Elden Ring is great. I really liked it. It has some issues. Like, I think some of the boss fights are kind of shit, honestly. I'm not even that surprised because there's various dungeons in the open world. There's the main bosses, but then there's, like, the dungeon bosses. There's overworld bosses. And some of them are just, a lot of them, honestly, aren't that great. I'm not even, but like I said, I'm not surprised because there's, like, over 100 bosses in this game. Way more than in previous FromSoft games. But some of them are still pretty good. I really like the boss in the Kaled region. The main boss of that region is really, really cool. The way they designed that fight is super neat, especially thematically, like when it's tied into the lore. And these games always have really interesting lore, especially because it's very much open to interpretation. A lot of it is in like the menus, like in the item descriptions and whatnot. And it's not very in your face, the story and lore of these games, which I think is honestly a pretty appealing thing. It's very much something that you have to piece together as you play. And a lot of it can be up to interpretation. You might have one read of how the mythology of say Dark Souls 1 works, and then another person might have interpreted a few things differently, and I always dug that about it a lot. But yeah, I mean, bosses not great for a lot of them. My least favorite, honestly, I think might be the literal final boss, or at least the second phase of the final boss. That boss kind of sucks because he keeps teleporting away a lot, but he doesn't teleport away to attack you. He just sort of teleports away, and you have to run to him, and it's a little aggravating. It's just kind of like, okay, what's the point? Like, he's not even attacking me. It'd be fine if you could ride your horse, but you can't in that fight, which kind of sucks. But yeah, that fight not good. The second phase of the final boss. I will also say the dragon fights in general are pretty underwhelming. Like the first time you do it, it's cool. It feels cool because you're on your horse and you're fighting this big ass dragon that just flies in out of nowhere. But literally every other dragon fight in the game is the exact same, except the dragon has a different element. Like you might fight an ice dragon or a thunder dragon later. And it's like, all right, well, you kind of blew your load with the first one because the rest are basically the same fight. It's just you slapped on a different color to it. So yeah, it's boss fights are, I think, definitely the weakest aspect of the game, I would say. But overall, it was a really fun time. The core of the game, just exploring and going through everything, was great. And the game has a lot of build variety too. If the game has a shit ton of weapons and spells and whatnot, so there's a ton of builds you can do. If you want to be like a sort of warrior mage type character, you can do that. If you want to be like a strict sorcerer, there's a lot of sorceries you can play with. And one thing I really will give the game credit for is they've been patching it recently, and a lot of the patches are just sort of buffing stuff. Like there's very few nerfs in the patches, which I think is really cool. Because I mean, there are some stuff that's legit busted. Like bleed is insane in this game. It still is. Like if you have a bleed build, then congratulations, you beat the game because bleed is absurdly powerful in Elden Ring. But and other stuff that was OP as fuck, like Hoarfrost Stomp, which is an Ash of War that you can equip to your weapons. It's that was pretty broken at launch too. And they've nerfed like super broken shit, but a lot of the patches is essentially just buffing stuff that could really use more juice to it or more power, which I'm really glad. I always think that's the better way to like balance a game. It's kind of weird that we're talking about balance patches for a single player game, but I mean, there's a PvP element to it, so I guess it makes sense, you know. In that sense, you really do want to keep stuff balanced. But I like the way they approach it, which is neat. One thing I will say though, the game in a way shipped incomplete because some quest lines in that game just were not completed at launch, so you had to wait for future patches, which is bizarre to me. I like in the most recent patch, they added a new event in one character's quest line who's like a fan favorite character because he's in literally every FromSoft game, even like the Armored Core games that they did before Dark Souls and whatnot. They just added a new event in his quest line. It's just like, wow, I'm surprised that these were not finished. I mean, I know it's a big game, but it's just kind of weird to see like them patching in literal quests like completions and whatnot. It's a little odd, but it is what it is. I don't mind too much. But yeah, that's Elden Ring essentially. I'm not gonna go more in depth because I don't want to spend 8 hours talking. But yeah,
All good. It sounds like you had like a really good experience. I've been seeing a lot of people's like different playthroughs and just gameplay clips online of it, and it looks like a lot of fun. A lot of like chaos can come from the game. I've seen a lot of like, footage online, like people's like streams and all that, where they just like rage out or they get absolutely hype over like some of the stuff that's in there. It seems some friends of mine play it live as well. So yeah, just sounds like really cool game.
yeah,
Um,
it's great. I
yeah,
will say though, the difficulty of these FromSoft games are super overblown to me. I really genuinely think if you give it a chance and you actually engage with the game and its mechanics, it's not unfair. For the most part, at least. I mean, granted, there have been some moments in some of these games where I'm like, "That's bullshit." Like that was a bullshit death. But a lot of it is just like, no, just try again or use some of the mechanics. Some tryhards like to act like, "Oh, you use summons for that boss fight? That's lame. You didn't truly beat the boss." I'm like,
fuck
no, I
off. It's
mean,
a mechanic in the
it's a
game.
mechanic in the game. Like, yeah, like it's there for a reason. If people want to use it, then let them. It's just kind of whatever. There was a great video essay recently where some dude who said he's like, I don't consider myself all that good at games. He went through the entire Dark Souls trilogy and he struggled with them, but he at times, but he didn't like he's like, yeah, I use stuff like summon sometimes because I mean, it's there. The game does not actively like tell you not to use the. I think that's the weird discrepancy. Like some of the
They don't.
fandom act like very super tryhards and say no, don't do that. But the game very much is like, yeah, go for it if you want to
Yeah,
use
it's
it.
not like they punish you for it or anything like that, or like, they don't actively like discourage you or like dishearten you like for doing it in the game. Like, nah, like it's a legitimate mechanic that's in the game. Like, if you want to challenge yourself and not use summons, then that's one thing. But it's like I don't see that as like, oh, you didn't truly beat the game. I'm like, fuck
Yeah, it's
off.
just
Like,
it's very rare where it's like maybe if you use a summon, like it makes it almost too easy. But uh, even then, it's just like it's an option. You don't have to take it if you don't want
yeah,
to. It is what it is, and it's the same deal with Elden Ring. It's like I said, it's by nature of the open world design of the game. I think it's super accessible because I mean I ran into some bosses where I was like. Like I was just so mad at how often I was dying, and I just said, you know what? Let me just do something else. And then I went back to it later, and I beat him once I like powered up and got a new weapon and whatnot.
right.
It's it at its core, I think it's more accessible. But even besides that, it has those mechanics from the older games. You can summon NPCs. You can summon your friend as a co-op partner. You can do all these things. It had the Spirit Ash mechanic, like I mentioned earlier. It's all there, and the game actively encourages you to use it if you want to. So this very try-hard mentality that some people have with the series is honestly just kind of ridiculous, which is it's something I really dislike because it really does give the impression that these games are like bullshit unfair, and they're really not once you actually engage with the game and its mechanics.
Yeah.
In my head,
And then
when you were saying that literally just now, that you walked away and like powered up, I thought you meant like IRL. You're
Yeah, like I worked out.
or like you you
started lifting.
let's do this.
or like you looked in the mirror. You can fucking do it, man. You can do it. You're pointing at yourself, and you do the Shia LaBeouf. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Wow, bringing back that 2015 meme right there.
He will not define us.
Is that a speaker?
No, that I meant literally in the game. I leveled up more and stuff. And it's a good feeling, honestly, when you do that. Like, there were some bosses that I struggled with, and I just said, I'm gonna come back later, and I did. I found like the guts weapon in the game. It's essentially the Dragon Slayer from Berserk. Like, it looks just like it. And these games have a lot of Berserk references, if it isn't obvious, because the creator fucking loves Mura's work. And so he just injects that shit into it. And Elden Ring is no different. There's little tributes to Kentaro Miura, rest his soul, in the
That's
game.
awesome.
And I used the Berserk Sword to beat some of the bosses that were giving me a tough time early in the game, which was a good feeling.
Is it actually a Dragon Slayer from the game? I mean, from
Okay.
Berserk?
So, I mean, look, I assume that they can't truly call it that, because probably there's some copyright thing.
Gotcha.
I don't know how Japanese copyright works, honestly. So, I could be way off. But it
So it's like a
looks
tribute sword.
yeah, like it looks just like Guts' sword. It looks like the Dragon Slayer.
Gotcha.
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, that's why the community just refers to it as the
The
Guts
Berserk
sword or the
sword,
Berserk
yeah.
sword. Yeah.
That's cool though. Yeah, I was gonna say earlier, in regards to like, all the try hard stuff and all that, it kind of reminds me of when people do Nuzlocke runs in Pokemon. It's just like there's obviously a set of rules from like the original like runs of that, because I think that started out as like a webcomic if I'm not mistaken. And then soon after that, when it gained popularity, people just actually started doing it in like the actual games, and that led to like a whole sub community of people trying to do Nuzlocke runs to pretty much every single Pokemon game, and then other RPGs that are similar. And then that just makes me think. Sometimes people change up the rules to their liking, and that just makes me think there really are no universal rules to a Nuzlocke. Like, you can really just do it however you want. Like, you can use items if you want. You can use if your Pokemon die, if they get hit with 0 HP, you don't have to necessarily release them if you don't want to do that. It just plays into like the whole novelty of like, oh, they're dead, you can't use them ever again. But it's like, the run is yours to do whatever you want with, and I feel like that's what the whole thing with this game is as well with Elden Ring. It's like you can pretty much be whoever you want, do whatever you want, just have whatever build you want, get through the game however you wish. There's dozens of different ways you can probably do it. So I feel like people shouldn't really just be like, "Oh, you didn't really beat the game that way for using summons." Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's a very like weird thing, because like I said, the game does not say don't use this. It's the fucking weird people in the community that
Don't
say
use
that.
it, even
The
though
game
we
is very
do
much like, yeah, you want to summon, go for it, dude. It's just like, yeah, it's whatever. It's kind of like a weird thing. It's a very like sad state when it comes to the series, because part of it is the tryhards in the community's fault, and that in turn leads to this impression that the Soul series is just ridiculously unfair. When I once you engage with it, I really don't think it is. Like I said, that one dude in that video essay, I wish I could remember his name. I think his name is Noah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his name. If you look up like Noah Dark Souls, you'll probably find his video essay. It's semi recent. he very much states that he's not great at the game, and he was able to get through, and he engaged with it, and he doesn't view using things like summons as a deterrent because the game itself encourages you to use it if you get stuck and need it. It's a whole thing. It's just kind of weird. But I will say the one thing I will close on when it comes to Elden Ring, I fucking love that the no bitches meme came out just when that game came out, so that it transitioned from no bitches
You get
to
no
no maidens.
bitches.
It went from no bitches to no maidens because in the beginning of the game, the characters are constantly saying you are maidenless because literally, like, you need a maiden to level up in the game. It's like part of the game's lore and all that. And when you first meet your maiden, Melina, who is, by the way, A+ wife right there. There's plenty of good waifus in the game if you're into that. Even she's like, I want to help you, but I'm afraid you are maidenless. So it's like, so I will be your maiden and all that. Like, I love that the meme transitioned from no bitches to no maidens, and it was often used with like a picture of Melina.
That's awesome.
You get no bitches.
Honestly, when I hear that, I just think of the Dwayne The Rock Johnson meme. Was like, how about you find some bitches?
How about you find some maidens?
The Rock response.
Yeah.
Made in China. How about you find some maidens?
Oh my god.
God, the funny thing is, we were back in like January of 2021. I'm pretty sure we were planning a podcast still, because at the time we didn't realize we were gonna go on a huge hiatus. So in my head, I was thinking of like, oh, these are the games I want to talk about, because I mean, way back in like, I want to say around February or March of 2021, I went through Persona 5 Royal, and I was like, oh, I gotta talk about this on the next podcast. Obviously, at this point, I don't even know if I should, because it's like I played that over a year ago now.
Well,
so
apparently, guys, Ray and Eric now are on the same wavelength when it comes to Persona games. So
What?
they can definitely try and talk your ear off about it.
Wait, what is this? Ray, do you know what he's talking about?
I think he's trying to say that like we're both like Persona aficionados now,
Yeah.
so like we could just have an entire podcast episode in the future, which honestly we could, but like not right now because like
I feel like I would want Ray to actually play the games.
Yeah.
How do you know he hasn't?
Yeah, he's done it behind my back. He just hasn't told me.
I don't know. Ray?
No.
There you go.
There's your answer, everyone. Thanks for coming to the Inkling Brothers podcast.
I don't think Blaze Blue Cross Tech Battle counts.
No, I mean it's
a good game though.
Oh, shut up!
It is a great game.
It's a. I don't know. I haven't played it.
I mean, it is a decent fighting game, but at the same time, no, it's not a Persona game.
It's a crossover fighting game that has Persona characters in it. That's literally it.
Yeah. No, but I do. Oh, actually, something I think we didn't even mention because like. The last time we did a podcast, it was like way long time ago, but each of us own the PS5 now.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's what I was playing Elden Ring on the PS5.
It's the last time PlayStation we talked. PlayStation 5s were mythical. You apparently
we've proven the myth true.
We couldn't get them.
I mean, to be fair, at this point, they're not that hard to get. Like currently, nowadays it really isn't that hard.
Eric, so Ray got his in October.
Ray got his first.
Yeah, and because I was assisting him that night because his Xbox died the same week, right?
Merry Christmas, Xbox.
And then I said to Ray, I'm like, Ray, look, I'll help you get a new Xbox, or I can help you get a PlayStation 5. They're the same price. You just choose which one you want.
And then Ray's like, that one can play Persona and Spider-Man. Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Yeah, because, I mean...
In all fairness, I did think about it.
Yeah.
But, like, because I do have another friend who, like, got me GTA 5 on a Xbox, but...
Oh, shit.
When they got it to me, my Xbox broke down literally that same week. So I'm thinking, like... Well, I also always wanted to play Spider-Man and Persona and all that, and I can only do it pretty much on PlayStation 5 or 4, so it's a matter of like choosing which one. And the other person understood it when I told him about it, and it's like, yeah, do whatever you want. And so I just went ahead and got the PS, especially since PS5 compared to the Xbox Series X, like I can always get the Series X someday, but the PS5 is more of a hot commodity. So if I could just have that and then just have access to all the latest games and all that are coming out for that,
Yeah.
then that'd be good. Like I remember like a week or two after I got my PS5, I think the PlayStation, what did they call it? Like the PlayStation Direct's State of Play. I think
Yeah,
that
there you go.
aired, and they revealed like the Spider-Man 2 game that's coming with both Peter and Miles in it, and
Yep.
they also showed off the new God of War game that's coming.
They showed off Venom.
And they showed off Venom. They revealed the Wolverine game that's coming. So I'm like, wow, I got this at the right time. But
Yeah, I think Venom is voiced by the guy who did Candyman in that sequel that's coming out. I forgot
crazy,
the
yeah.
actor's name. Tony Todd. There you go. Yeah,
Tony Todd.
it was revealed he's the actor who played Candyman, and he's apparently going to be the voice of Venom in that game. So that'll be interesting to see.
It'd be cool.
I'm excited.
And yeah. So and with that, with my PS5, I picked up Spider-Man PS4, the PS4 version because I like the face model for Peter and that better.
The fucking face change. Yeah.
And I also picked up Persona 5 Royal, which I'm going to be starting probably not soonish, but I will at some point because I'm waiting to actually move my PS5 into my bedroom. Right now it's in my living room, and I feel like when it comes to a game like P5R, I kind of want to just play that within the comfort and space of my own room without having to worry about my TV being used by another person. So
yeah, that makes sense.
So that's really what I'm waiting on. I could pretty much start at any point, but with how much time needs to be devoted into the game, because I want to do a whole lot with it. I want to wait for that. But yeah, I do have it on deck though, so that will be something I play eventually, and then
it'll be in 4K too.
It'll be in 4K.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, and then me, Eric, probably Lawrence will also get to talk about it at some point.
Lawrence playing Persona.
Huh. Sure, you are yo.
I mean, he could now.
Hey, you've been look. That was a joke, but
yeah,
I only did it
sure.
No, shut up. It's because you've been throwing
it's
Ray
a joke,
under the bus this whole time.
Joke.
So I was like, let me just throw him under the bus at least
joke,
once.
It's a joke.
You want me to be fair? Fine. You did play a couple of hours of Persona 3.
I did. I did play a couple hours of Persona 3.
That is true. That is true on the PSP.
There you go. Yeah, like 8 years ago, but he did play it.
My God!
I'm not mad. I'm not saying how dare you not play it. I'm just like, it's just I just wanted to throw you under the bus for a sec because you've been doing that to Ray all day today for whatever reason.
All right, you watch it. You watch it, Eric. You're next.
Okay, sure. I'm used to it.
Oh my God! Yeah, so the three of us now own PlayStation 5s. I remember the same night that Ray was doing this, I was like, Ray, you have 10 minutes to make this decision. Do you want the PlayStation or the Xbox? He had only 10 minutes, I kid you not. And then he, like, the restock...
He also had the money for it.
Yeah, the restock on Walmart came, and I said, Ray, your time is now.
Now or never.
You choose it. And so it was like an hour and a half of him trying in queue for that PlayStation, and eventually he finally got it. And I was really happy. I didn't have the funds at the time to play around with, so I just let him do it, and I was still like heavy into my graduate program, and I didn't really have much time because of because of work was kicking my ass. So I said, I'm just gonna wait for now, and then when I feel like I'll have more time to play, I'll do it. Thankfully, I have a lot more. I've had a lot more time in the last 3 months to play, which has been really fun. I did like a whole entertainment system upgrade. So I got the OLED.
Yeah, you bought a new 4K TV and everything.
Yeah, I got a 4K TV. It's a Samsung QLED TV. I got the
QLED.
I got the PlayStation 5 with the black cover on it. I got the Pulse headset.
I am jealous of that. The black because the white is really ugly.
So just buy the cover.
I know. I just haven't yet.
Yeah, so apparently, because the black covers don't release in stores until like June or something of this year. You just buy it on Sony. I got the Pulse 3D headset, which by the way is really good. Definitely what a like. I do not regret that purchase at all. And I got a
I
little
eventually
like
want to get that.
stand, like I got the little stand thing to put my PlayStation on. So that unfortunately,
Wait, you mean that thing that goes on the bottom, where so you could have it vertical?
well, no, I know it comes with one, but I got another one
Yeah.
that has a fan with it, and a
Oh.
charging station for the two controllers because I bought a black controller too.
Oh, I bought a charging station with mine
Yeah,
too. Yeah, I bought a second controller and a charging station
yeah,
with my PS5, and the other controller is black because it looks way better.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
didn't. So unfortunately, the charging station, the entire charging station, which is like a base also for the PlayStation, I didn't. I didn't. There was a black version, but I just didn't buy it. I bought some like a ring of LED lights to put inside of the PlayStation. I was like, since I'm opening the cover anyways and replacing it with the black one, I might as well just put some lights on the inside. Why not? So I did. And I got a 2 terabyte solid state external drive and a replacement SSD M.2 for the internal so that
Wait,
I
you
can.
replaced it? You mean you added to
Yeah,
it?
add it to it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And then
I was
I
gonna
got
say, why would you take it out?
and I got a two
You could use
terabyte
both.
external for the for all of my PlayStation 4 games, which is the move, by the way. Definitely, if you are thinking about getting a PlayStation 5, and you have a PlayStation 4, buy an external hard drive. Don't not a hard drive, solid state drive. Probably at least 2 terabytes if you have a lot of digital games and get an M.2 SSD for the internal so that you can put all PlayStation 5 games because that 800 gigabytes is no joke. That runs out so fast, honestly.
On
Like,
the PS5?
yeah, it runs out so fast. I don't know,
I
maybe it's just
mean,
me,
you
but
could also just do what I did, and when the console is like, "Hey, do you want to download all these PS4 games?" I go, "No,"
so
and just
that
moved
was the
on from there.
difference. That's the difference is that I was like I kind of want some of them, so
I
I
mean,
got the
I
extra
did
drive.
install some of them, but like, I'm not gonna install shit that I just don't plan on playing again. So I
Yeah,
said no to most of it, and then I transferred all my data from my PS4 pretty
Right.
quickly in that department, and
yeah,
it didn't take up that much space. Because here's the thing: even if you say no at the beginning, like when it comes to transferring your PS4, as long as you sign into your PSN account, you could always download them later because they're
yeah.
That's
tied
the
to your
thing. Yeah.
account.
Well, that's the
Like
move. It's still the
as,
move,
as
though.
cool as cool as the idea is of having like all these games you can possibly play all at once on your PlayStation 5, it's not really worth taking up all that space and then slowing shit down and all
Right,
that.
Yeah,
right.
Just
especially if you're not touching them.
Yeah,
Like
that's
yeah, like
there's
why.
some
just go
games
for the
like
ones you're actually gonna
Infamous.
touch right now.
I'm not gonna touch again. I played through it twice, and that was it. I don't really plan
Yeah.
on playing it again because I mean it was okay, it was fun, but it wasn't fun enough for me to go back to it anytime soon. So I said no, I'm not installing that. Why would I?
Yeah.
Also, it's not like your save data is like necessarily going anywhere. Like you can
No.
always just
Well,
like
that goes
undownload some games and then re-download those games if
That
you
goes
ever
on the
want to go back to
cloud,
it.
thankfully.
Yeah.
well. There's that, but also during the whole PS4 to PS5 transfer process, the save stuff is separate. Like first they ask you to transfer all your saves and stuff like that, and then they ask about like the regular stuff, like the games and shit that you have installed. And that's a good move actually, because yeah, I did make sure to transfer all my saves, even saves for games that I don't have installed at the moment. Because I mean, save data is like megabytes. It will go by quickly.
Yeah.
So do that, and then if when you get to the portion where it asks you about games, just hit no and just be like, just download them when you want to play them later on. You don't need them all.
Yeah. But if
That's
you
why I
are
still haven't
interested,
gotten.
but if you are interested in creating the ultimate PlayStation 5, definitely consider getting yourself an external and an internal SSD just to have a little more space to play around with. I like it. It did actually ended up working out for me. I actually haven't even set up any of the media stuff on my PlayStation to be honest because I use
You haven't
another.
like put in
Um,
your Disney Plus stuff and or shit
no,
like
yeah,
that.
because I use my like I said, I created a whole new entertainment system pretty much the past few months. So I use my Amazon Fire TV Cube now instead of my Chromecast. My Chromecast is still connected, but I use the Amazon Fire Cube because all I have to do is like tell Alexa to like turn on my TV, which has been really fun. I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh, you're just lazy." I'm like, no, it's just the principle of it. I like to have that option. Like
He
obviously,
likes having control over a woman. You know?
oh my god, he's trying to get me canceled. Jeez. No, and it comes with a remote, so like I just use the remote most of the time. But like if occasionally, like for example, when I get home, if I'm working or like if I'm like I just came back from home, all my lights are off and everything. So I literally just come home and I say, Alexa, I'm home, and then I created a routine where when I say that, turns the TV on, turns the soundbar on, immediately flicks over to my Amazon Fire Cube, and then I just like grab the remote and just go to whatever I want to watch. So I've just been using all of that recently, which has been really nice. Because I also have the hue lights, the sync box to like for more immersion or whatever.
Mm.
But I didn't put literally any of my accounts, even on the native apps, like on my TV. I didn't put any apps there. Like I haven't put any of my accounts on there, and I haven't put any of my accounts on my Switch or on my PlayStation yet. I'm going to. I'm just not there yet. It's just because I'm just like I'll probably have more time.
See,
Um,
I am not that extra. I just use the native apps on my TV for stuff
Yeah.
like Netflix.
that's fair.
I'm just like, it works and it's fine. Like I rarely run into issues with them. I know some people are like, oh, the native apps on like TV on smart TVs are terrible, and I'm like, it works. It looks good. It's in 4K. That's all I care
It's
about.
Yeah, it's definitely it varies person to person because some TVs like sometimes those apps can actually like suck because they keep updating them over time and then they just
Right.
like slow down or like glitch out at times.
Yeah,
But
like
other
sometimes
times,
Netflix glitches out on me, but
yeah,
it doesn't happen often,
yeah,
thankfully.
it doesn't
Yeah.
happen often. Like sometimes they're just fine.
HBO Max as well for me is another one I noticed where occasionally it glitches up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I do know. No, but so like I also got a new Switch, the OLED. I
Yeah,
still
yeah,
have
we all got
my.
that, right? Or
Ray doesn't yet.
Ray, do
I
you
don't have
not?
mine. No,
Okay.
not yet. Yeah, but eventually in the future though,
Yeah,
because I
it's been
Lauren showed me
so
his. He showed me
nice.
yours.
Literally, like the first game I got on it, which was the launch title with the OLED, was Metroid Dread.
Oh
So
yeah,
that was the first game that I played on it, and I
what a
was
good
like,
game.
it's so good, like, and I'm just like really just like in love. I was in love with the graphics. I was in love with the like the brightness on it, like everything just looks so crisp and so nice, and it's like, man, I don't even want to grab my old Switch anymore. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
even
thing.
it does that to you. Like that's how I felt when jumping from like the Wii U to the Switch. Like you look back at the Wii U like tablet, and it's like this looks like a
Ugh.
Fisher Price toy
yeah.
compared
No,
to the
it's funny
Switch.
because like when I go to Best Buy or whatever and they have the OG Switch or the Switch Lite like
You
on
scoff at it and just spit on the floor. It's like, how dare you even try to
I
offer
look
that?
at it, I'm like, wow, the screen is just not so bright. What the hell happened, man? And the thing is, like, I checked to see if, like, is it just me or is the brightness just really low? And then I checked, the brightness is high, and I'm like, what the hell? And obviously, the battery was like so much better on it. I know that they did the improvement for the Switch with the red box version, where with the improved battery life, but like the OLED battery life is just so much better. It's like double the battery life that I used to have, which has been so nice.
Well, it
Literally.
might feel that way because you've had the old Switch since basically launch,
Yeah,
so the
right.
battery must have degraded by now. Because it's
Yeah.
definitely not double the amount normally.
I
And
keep
so
forgetting how long ago the Switch originally
I
launched. Like,
Yeah,
know,
wasn't it
dude, I
right?
swear,
2017?
5
we've
years.
talked
Dang.
about this. It came out in 2017. It does not feel that way.
I know,
Yeah.
5 years ago, man.
Yeah,
God damn.
over 5 years ago now. That's crazy.
Um
Yeah.
in other I
That's around when
mean,
we started this
Eric
podcast,
got
actually.
Eric
I
got his
think.
PlayStation December, right?
Yes. December 2021. So I've only had it for like 5 months,
And you
but
got
yeah.
your new 4K TV at the same time, right?
Yep. The PS5 came first, and then the 4K TV came next, and I, with the help of some family friends, we set up a thing where we could put the 4K TV
On the
on.
wall.
OLED TV onto the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's mounted on my wall right now. It's a 55-inch LG C1, and I love it. Yeah, I love it because I got the OLED first because I mean obviously that came that was more easy to get than the PS5 at the time.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I showed it to Ray because I was like, yeah, I was like you where when I first heard of it, I was like, I don't know, because it's the thing with the OLED that does kind of suck is that there's no internal upgrades. There's no there's not a better GPU or whatever in the thing, and that does suck. But here's the deal. Here's how I see it
Here's the
personally.
deal, man.
If you play primarily handheld, and if you have the older Switch model, because with the OG Switch, there's technically two versions to it. There's the original Switch, and then there was like an upgraded OG Switch where the only difference was it had a better battery. And you could
Yeah.
tell the difference because the revision with the better battery was in a red box, while the original was in a white box. That's how you tell the difference between the two. I had the OG Switch with the worst battery, and I've had it for a few years at that point. So, as someone who plays handheld a lot, it honestly was worth it, even though there's no internal upgrades because the battery is better. There's more storage on it. Granted, it's still a measly amount. You need a micro SD card if you want to download a lot of games. It's only 64
Yeah.
gigs now. So it's double from the original, but 64 is so little. Nintendo,
Yeah.
please, it's not 2005 anymore. Can you just catch
Uh,
up? But that's still something. It's more storage. The kickstand is amazing on the OLED
oh hell yeah.
Switch. Like it's way the kickstand in the original sucked ass. I never used it, but this one is legit. Like it's really good. It's basically the kickstand that you find on like tablets, like on Surface tablets. And above all else, like Lawrence mentioned, I think there's a few other things like, oh, the audio is better. I'll be honest, I can't tell that much, but I'm sure it is. It's just I'm not a big audiophile. Like I don't even have a sound bar for my TV because I'm like, I can hear it. That's all I need. Like that's just how I am. I'm sure once I get one eventually, which I might do, I'll be like, okay, yeah, it's a huge difference. But as it stands, I'm not the biggest audio guy, so it works for what I have.
Fair.
But like yeah, like the screen is amazing on the OLED. Like when I saw it and then when I saw the older Switch, I couldn't go back. The bezel is so much smaller and the OLED screen is just gorgeous, like with the black levels and the colors and how vibrant it is. Granted, I do
Oh
recommend
yeah.
switching the colors from Vivid to Standard because Vivid is a little too oversaturated, in my opinion. But even on Standard, like it looks incredible. Like playing Metroid Dread, which is the first game I played on the system outside of Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, because this was when that Castlevania Advance collection came out, and I love those GBA Castlevania games, so I played through them again. Metroid Dread was like the perfect game for that system because there's a lot of like black parts of the screen when you're playing through it, and it looks incredible on the OLED Switch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just playing through Metroid Dread and just using that OLED Switch for even just a week. I'm happy with my purchase. I'm perfectly happy. That said, if you don't play handheld at all, it's not worth it. It really isn't. Like if you just play your Switch dock, don't buy it. Buy the dock, the new dock that comes with the
Oh,
OLED
yeah.
Switch, the one that has the Ethernet port. Don't buy the OLED Switch itself because it's not worth it. Because the OLED screen is not going to benefit you if you play docked, obviously.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I play my Switch mostly in handheld mode.
Yep.
So obviously, like I'm just like, yeah, it
Oh, point of
probably
it.
won't matter, huh?
No, I'm saying like that's the whole point of it. Like the switch between docked and handheld
Oh
mode.
yeah.
Like why would you
Yeah,
not?
yeah, yeah. It's just that
And
obviously some people go more towards one or the other,
yeah,
you know. So like that's why I mentioned like if you're big into the handheld side of the Switch, I'd say the OLED Switch is worth it,
yeah,
especially if you have the
OLED.
older OG Switch. But if you play docked, I just straight up say skip it.
Yeah, just stick with the original, honestly, because there's basically no internal difference when it comes to like playing the games on the TV.
Yeah, like the better screen is not gonna matter when you're not looking at the screen.
Yeah.
So
Um. Also, too, while we're on the subject, get that grip add-on that Lawrence got for his
Oh yeah,
OLED.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple at the Nexco, I think, right? I think it's
Mexico.
called Nexco, and then I got the
Mexico.
I also have the Hori Arceus Legends version
I
for
think
the
I have the
DS.
Pikachu Hori.
Yeah, they're like the one that are pretty much like it's pretty much a pad, like a split pad. I think it's called
Uh huh.
Split Pad Pro. Um, so
I want to
good.
get me one of those because,
Those are
like,
so good. Like
yeah,
I love the Joy Cons, but you know, like with I literally have gone through maybe 6 or 7 like Joy Cons at this point, and like Eric will tell you, I literally when we went to DR, cue Vietnam flashbacks, um, there we literally like 2 weeks or a week oh no, actually 2 days before we went to JNL and we bought
Jeez.
another left Joy-Con just
And by we,
because.
he means me. I
Yeah,
bought
he
it
he
for him.
got it for me. And we were like, it worked, and then all of a sudden that Joy-Con eventually drifted again, and I'm just like, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of these
yeah,
Joy-Cons just dying
and
on
it
me.
costs way too much,
Yeah,
Yeah, they
I'm
and
really
not
do.
Nintendo's
gonna
not doing
keep
anything
doing
about
that.
it.
And so like
They
I
really do,
was.
considering they're so easy to start drifting, and then you have to,
Yeah,
send it in or get a new one.
Yeah, so
there's
I was
that.
just like, I'm just gonna, you know what? It's too much of a hassle for me to get them repaired, so I'm just gonna, what I did is I just ended up like, um, I literally just ended up getting that Nexco pad when I got my OLED, and then I got the Hori Split Pad Pro also. And honestly, like, I love the white Joy Cons that came with mine, but I just can't.
I I bought it at Nintendo New York, and they didn't have the white Joy-Con, so I had to settle for the regular like blue and red OLED Switch, which is fine.
Yeah, I just
There's
I just
there's
didn't want
that.
to. Yeah.
There's that, with the whole drift problem, and then there's also like, I'm so used to holding like a regular controller at this point that
Yeah.
whenever I go back to Switch with the flat Joy-Cons in handheld mode, it's like I can't like hold this like I don't feel comfortable holding this flat anymore.
I do have to
Um,
admit, I've sometimes run into that problem. Like when I was playing through
yeah,
Great Ace Attorney, I was playing in primarily handheld mode, and I have to admit sometimes my wrist would start like hurting from long reading sessions of that game. So I would switch out the Joy Cons for like the more comfortable grips.
Yeah, and I mean,
yeah,
even
the
like for
grips really
example,
help.
like let's say you're playing Mario Kart. I'm just bringing out Mario Kart as an example, right? It it really like you're pressing that button for a really long time, and I'm telling you, like if you change up to like a different like if you change up to a different controller, like the Split Pad Pro or the Nextcon. This is not an ad, by the way. We are not sponsored. It is honestly night and day. Like I love the Joy Cons. I love the concept. I think Nintendo has a lot of like internal design issues with the Joy-Con still that they need to work out electronics wise. Because there's no reason for that drifting to happen. Like I get it, all controllers do that, but I feel like the amount
It's
of time
definitely
between starting to use that controller and starting and the point of like where the drift becomes unbearable is way too short compared to when other controllers
yeah.
start drifting.
It
Like
really can happen quickly.
it drifts so much that it's like just to give a comparison, some of my friends are like pro COD players or fighting game players, right? They said that every time they go to a new competition or something like that, they have to get a new controller because by the end of the tournament or something like that, their controllers are just mangled, right? And some of them just they have like these their own like I forget what they're called, but like they have their own like special controllers that like don't break, so they just bring them to all the tournaments. Um, or like they're like modular that you can just like replace like a joystick or something like that. So I'm just like there needs to be there's something so wrong if like if your controller starts to drift so much that it feels like you're like a professional game player and you literally are just playing Animal Crossing all day. Like that's it, like it's just ridiculous to me, and I think that's probably one of the big reasons why I didn't get a chance to play my Switch as much before I switched to the OLED because I was kind of already turned off by the idea of like
Dealing with the
the
drift.
drift and like even with like I stopped playing Smash like a long time ago
Yeah,
because of
I did
that.
too because of the drift issues I was
And
having at the
so
time.
Yeah, I
now,
got really
with
pissed
the
off one time. Like I was playing online with my friends and the fucking drift kept knocking me off the stage several times and I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah,
yeah,
it happened to me too.
I'm
That's why I
sure
stopped
and
playing.
I'm sure we're
Yeah.
not the only ones that felt that way too, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that do, and it's probably why you don't really hear too much about Smash, unless I might just be living on a different side of the internet nowadays, but I don't hear it too much. I know that they
No,
already
you
stopped.
often hear about how they're having sex with minors. There's that.
W-
We're not gonna.
oh, okay. Lesson
So
to be
Yeah.
learned:
continuing
don't do that.
on.
Remember that one? Remember when that happened
Yeah, that
early in the
actually, I
pandemic?
think that actually
When
happened when
every Smash
we
player that's ever existed in the in
got
like
How the
canceled.
fuck did that happen?
in
Like
the pro league
every
got
during the
canceled.
pandemic, like not even just that, everyone kept getting exposed for some bullshit while
Yeah,
we're all at home.
yeah. It's funny because I think we were still doing the podcast at that time when
That
when
time,
all of
Were
yeah.
that
we?
was
I
happening.
honestly don't remember.
We were, because I think we were having this exact same conversation.
Oh, I think you are right. Yeah, I thought we
um,
didn't, which is why I mentioned it.
yeah, I mean, like I haven't heard much in terms of like the game development. I know Sakurai obviously stopped after the last character that he unveiled. Which, by the way,
Sora, I
Sora.
What?
win. I win. He was
I
always one of the characters I wanted, and he got in.
I
Dude,
remember
I I
when
started like
that happened. Eric literally wrote in the chat, "I
loser, like the
I,
King Neptune.
Cause all my fucking yeah, literally, it's like the King Neptune moment in SpongeBob. All of the picks that I wanted never get in for the most part. At least when it comes to the DLC for Smash Ultimate. And that was one where it finally happened. I've been asking for Sora for so long, and it finally happened. I don't have him because I don't play the game, but I'm still happy he got in.
Right.
Dude, yeah, when I saw that, for me it was like for the final character, like it was either it has to be Sora because like, he's the one choice that makes sense cuz like, obviously video game character, Disney owned, goes through different crossover worlds and all that, like obviously, and he's the most popular like pick that you just always see. Like every time there was a new Smash Direct or someone like, oh yeah, we're announcing a new character for Smash like this Thursday or whatever, you would always see Sora trending on Twitter. Like he was at the top. So it was either gonna be him or I was thinking like, Master Chief, because like,
Oh
if you're gonna
yeah,
have like Microsoft reps in there, you may as well like round it
may
off
as well
with
add
like,
in the Chief.
yeah, the big last one was like, "Sir, finishing this fight," and
Beat
then it's like,
Smash.
yeah. So either that or Sora. Like, and if I had to like really pick between one of the two, then yeah, I would go Sora because he is such a huge deal. Like just being here in the first place, like a Disney character in Super Smash Bros. With all these
Man,
other video game characters.
Nintendo and Disney must have been fucking negotiating for forever to get that to
I
work out.
heard, yeah, it was really an intense negotiation. It was a very
Oh yeah.
lucky one too. Like originally they were not planning that last character, but it just happened because Sakurai was meeting up with like someone I think at some Game Awards thing. Like I don't know if it was the Game Awards or another one because there's like different Game Awards ceremonies, but they just had like a whole meeting. It's like, yeah, let's if we can, let's talk about this and negotiate it, and then that's how they started making it happen.
Thank
Um,
God, because yeah, he's
yeah,
definitely he was one of the best characters to close on. Because yeah, he was literally the last DLC fighter, and
I
I
was.
also really love that they have a bunch of different outfits. So I'm just gonna say
Oh
right
yeah,
here, you're a scrub if you don't go with his KH2 look, because that's still the best look, the
it's
black outfit.
actually That's
Yeah.
actually the default look for him in Super Smash Flash 2, which he was in for a few years prior. Like he has the KH2 look in there.
That's the best game in the series, and that's the
Yeah,
best look for Sora. So go with that if you main him in
go with that.
Smash.
Yeah, although I do love the timeless server design too. It's really cool. I like that they.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
I really enjoy what they do with all the costumes. Like they're
yeah.
not just like, random recolors. Like they really let them go all out. Like every single costume is something he's worn in
Yeah.
the
His
series.
KH1 look is iconic because it's obviously the first game, and the first game still holds up really well, but KH2 is like one of the most fun action games ever to me, so that's the one I would. That's the outfit I would be rocking if I was playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's also like I love that they mentioned in the he mentioned in the reveal he was like he was actually the most requested character, but the problem but like we couldn't bring him to life at the time.
Yeah,
For
I
the
just gotta
survey.
say, so sometimes I go back to these podcasts and I just like listen to them and just think about like, man, we indirectly predicted this and that, or
Ray, the
like
super fan.
this, this is like what we said here is hilarious in hindsight because this ended up happening. So I'm mentioning this because we did have that conversation in the past where we talked about Lawrence was like, who's the real winner of the Smash ballot? And we were like, well, yeah, it's Bayonetta, but then it's like she was the most
No.
realizable character. And then immediately one of the first characters like, well, who would be like the real winner if they didn't go with the most realizable option? And then I think it might have been Eric who mentioned Sora immediately afterwards, and I was like, wow, wow. And then
Eric
the
is Nostradamus over here. I swear to
yeah.
God, he predicted
Are you
Hawaii.
gonna?
He
Here we go.
predicted
I knew he
Oh
was
my god.
referencing the sun and moon
in
thing. It was
our
one comment.
in
The
our
Pokemon retrospective Meatloaf blog from
yeah,
a long time
which
ago.
by the
From
way
like
was the
2015.
it's the spin-off episode. It's what kicked off the spin-off for this podcast, by the way.
That's
So,
pretty much the proto Inkling
you
Brewers
know,
podcast, yeah.
it was pretty much
In
detective.
Hawaii.
It's pretty much Detective Comics number 15. Yeah, like it wasn't actually a Batman. Like it's
Yeah.
not actually the entire
Action
thing is not
Comics number
Batman.
one.
Yeah, Action Comics number 1. It's not really about Superman, but it turns out Superman was the most popular. Just like that. That episode was was our like our launch
Inkling
point.
Bros Zero.
Yeah, Inkling Bro Zero
The
before the
pilot.
pilot.
The
Before
unaired
the
pilot that we usually don't see for TV shows and
exactly.
shows and stuff.
So if you guys want, go check it out. Our voices are a lot more
Or younger in that shit. That was like
Younger and
2015.
more full of life.
I don't know about that,
God, I
but
was in college when we did that, I think.
I was too. I was still an undergrad. I think I
Yeah.
was only in like my second year of
yeah,
college at the time.
I was in my freshman year of college at the time, and I think
Yeah.
I left the podcast running because I had to go after
Oh yeah. And then Isaac came
after
in
Isaac came in with that
with the
fucking music.
music.
yeah, and then
Isaac,
my
turn the
roommate
music
Callum.
off. I got you. Yo, turn that shit up.
And then my roommate
No.
Callum, he turned off the podcast after it was you know,
How's he
after you
doing?
guys were done. I haven't talked to him in a bit, but I think he's still using my Netflix account, so I think he's okay.
Okay.
That's how
um,
you know he's still alive.
He's still watching
his
Breaking Bad
profile,
on
yeah,
his
his
Netflix.
profile is still on my Netflix, so I assume that he's doing okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I was asking that question a long time ago, I was like, who's the real winner of the ballot? Both of you guys were like, it was Bayonetta. I'm like, no, I mean who the real person was. Because I don't think Bayonetta was really number 1. I think she's just the most
In all
easy.
fairness, you're probably right because I mean Bayonetta is awesome and she's cool and I love her, but her game is nowhere near as popular as
Yeah,
something
that's what
like
I was
Kingdom
saying,
Hearts.
and
So.
I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of meme entries. Like I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who
Oh yeah,
actually
plenty of
voted.
people probably put in
Yeah,
Shrek.
Yeah.
Isaac mentioned Shrek immediately after, like, fucking Shrek.
Yeah, I bet Shrek was number 1.
Okay.
Or
Goku was probably there.
or yeah,
SpongeBob.
Goku, Superman. Like I
Sakurai
bet
straight
you.
up mentioned like Goku, SpongeBob, and Iron Man are like
Yeah, SpongeBob
top
was a big
popular
one.
picks. Yeah.
Like
I'm just imagining like a Shrek intro video where it's like the beginning of Shrek
Oh,
1 where he gets
fuck.
out of the outhouse
The
and then
outhouse.
like all these Smash fighters are in his swamp and he just, yells his iconic line, "What are you doing in my swamp?"
Dude,
And
if they
then
got
the
Mike
title card
Myers
comes
back to
in.
voice him.
yeah, and you know what's funny?
Just copy his moveset from Shrek Super Slam.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
were at Comic-Con this past year when the Nickelodeon Brawl game came
Nickelodeon
out.
All-Star Brawl, yeah.
Which I purchased that because I think it was on sale for like $10-20 recently on PlayStation 5, so I just bought it, the physical
Yee.
version. I have it on Switch, and I was playing, like, I literally bought it, I think, the weekend of Comic-Con, and I brought it with me so that we could try it out and play it. And we did. It was interesting. I I haven't touched it since then, to be honest with you, though. I
Well,
don't.
I'm sorry, I blacked out for a second. What were you talking about exactly?
Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl. Um, and I
Ah,
had to ask Ray. I was like, Ray, did that game just like die and fall off the face of the
I
planet?
thought you were about to say, Ray, did that game come out?
because like I mean, to be honest with you, everyone just stopped like everyone was hyping it up for the longest time leading up to
Well,
its
see,
release, and then it
here's the
just you
thing.
stopped hearing about it. And then I asked him, and he said, if you're not in the community, then you're not going to know about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
Exactly,
the
yeah.
thing.
That's the thing, like, because admittedly, there were a lot of people who really overhyped the game, and I don't mean that like in a negative sense. I mean that more in the sense of like, this game is gonna kill Super Smash Brothers
Yeah,
altogether.
obviously that was
was
not
never
gonna
gonna happen, obviously. But at the same time, it's like I don't think we should like be treating this or really any other platform fighter as like a Smash killer. Like, for the record, I just want to say the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl scene, like competitively, is still going. Like they just literally recently had a tournament like last weekend at forget the name of it, but yeah, they were posting like a whole bunch of clips from like the event and all that. So like there is still a scene, like you're still gonna see gameplay of it. And they're still like working on it. There's no
Yeah, they're
news on
still
like
working on
when.
fighters and stuff, right?
Yeah, like there's no news on when future DLC is coming because like obviously there's the whole negotiations with Nickelodeon and all that, and they're not as high budget as Nintendo, so things like this obviously take time and all that. I remember there was a bunch of people complaining about like, oh, where's crossplay at because they did announce it, and it hasn't come out yet. And I'm just like, they're probably just having issues with it, and they probably are not allowed to talk about it.
They're
Like,
also probably a very small team, and
they're also a
from
small
what I
team.
know, they're actually pretty chill when it comes to like, not abusing their workers,
Not abusing their
aka
workers.
not something that's common in the games industry. So,
So I'm just like, even though I don't play this game as often, I'll still go back to it like often because like, it's a fun game from at least from the experiences we all had. I mean, we brought it to like both
yeah, I had
Comic
fun with
Con
what I
and
played of it.
yeah, and
It
Anime
is what it is.
NYC in the
It's a
hotel.
game meant primarily for kids. So let's not beat around the bush here. And for what
Right.
for what it is, it's fine. Yeah, it's a fun little
It's a fun little
Smash
game.
clone with Nickelodeon characters.
I
Like
am a
really,
big
the
fan of
game is
the
only going to be successful if you give it support. So
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Powder Toast Man, by the way, just saying. Just had to put that
I
out
think I
there.
was playing Patrick when I played it. Like
Patrick
that was
is
the
a
guy.
very OP. No, I'm kidding. I don't really know.
Oh, okay.
I was playing Toph, who, funny enough, was actually a character I was really hoping would show up in the game, and I'm glad she did.
I'm
She was
glad
the
that the
last fighter
creators
revealed.
actually were listening to the like community. They were like, "We
Oh
want
yeah,
this
they listened to the
character,"
community.
and they're like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah. Yeah, they always like you go in their official Discord server, like there's obviously like suggestion chats and all that for like feedback on the gameplay and all that, and then they issue out like the patches, and then they publish patch notes, which are like really important, by the way. Something that Nintendo like didn't really start doing with Smash Brothers until like fan outcry was like, can you guys please put out patch notes so we don't have to figure out what the fuck you guys changed? Because like
Right.
I imagine that must be a very, very like, I guess time engrossing process to just intricately go through every single Smash Brothers character and see like, oh yeah, this only does like 2.5% damage now. And it's like,
I'm like
but yeah.
90% sure, um, like 90% sure I just joined that server for the emotes, but um,
The emotes
but
are
I'm
good though.
looking at it right now, and yeah, Garfield is there apparently since last
Well,
December.
Nick bought Garfield recently. So that
Bought
makes sense.
Garfield like not too long before the game came out, so it's like, yeah, I was like, yeah, you guys can
They
put
own
Garfield
that
in the
IP
game,
now.
and I know one of the devs was really excited for it because he's like a huge Garfield fan, so like that was like a dream of him to like put him in the game and all that.
I'm still upset that. I mean, I get Ray explained it to me. I'm still upset that the turtle representation is solely the '80s turtles because I don't like the '80s turtles.
But they put
Yeah.
Shredder in there though.
Okay, look, like here's the thing.
What he's saying is,
80s April O'Neil is the worst April O'Neil, but she's also the hottest April O'Neil, so I'm okay with that.
and also the
and-
most legal and not married April O'Neil.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, she's a teenager in the 2012 version, so
And she's married in
definitely not.
2003.
Yeah,
So
she's married. She gets married to Casey, which is pretty cool. That's like
yeah,
one of the few redeeming factors about that Back to the Sewer season, which
yeah.
is not great. But
But in '80s, she's single.
yeah, she's single. And she's hot. She's the worst April O'Neil, but she's hot. You know, so
She's
give it credit where it's due. And
although
Shredder,
this game and that upcoming side scroller TMNT game does make her really cool though.
I mean, that's the game though.
I mean, they're games, but they're still depictions of her.
I know. But, I mean, even with that one, I was like, oh, great, 80s Turtles again. Woo.
Yeah.
But,
No, but I
that's
get
just me.
what you're saying though. Yeah.
And you mentioned Shredder, and while I'm not crazy for that rendition of Shredder, I mean, one, shout out to Uncle Phil, because he does a good Shredder. Like, for what that Shredder
Uncle
is, he does a
Phil?
great job. Uncle Phil.
Really? James Avery?
Yeah, he was the voice
Yeah.
of Shredder in the 80s Turtles.
Wow.
That's why in that death battle with Shredder, they made that joke in the beginning. It was like, yeah, he sounds like Uncle Phil.
Yeah, it's literally James Avery. And for what that Shredder is, a very comedic, incompetent Shredder, he does a good job, And outside of that, I will always say, as much as I'm not crazy for that rendition, I like the design of 80 Shredder. I actually think he legitimately looks cool, and he can be threatening. I mean, just look at the fucking Batman versus TMNT crossover movie. Like, he looks like 80 Shredder, but he's intimidating as hell in that movie. So, in that sense, A-okay with it. But then it's like, oh, Leo and Mikey, they're the 80s versions too. Woo, okay, great. I'm tired of 80s nostalgia in general, but when it comes to TMNT, I just kind of hate that that's like the only series that ever gets rep these days. Like, I will take any other version over those.
It definitely would have been cool to have alternates representing the different generations of them. Like,
Yeah.
I understand the reason why they went with the '80s Turtles is because that's the version that the developers grew up with. Like, because if they didn't go for that, Nickelodeon was going to like have them implement the 2012 versions, which I honestly would have been down for it as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I like that version. It has its
Yeah.
issues, but I like it.
yeah.
I was basically forced to watch a lot of it because my nephews were really into it at the time, but I mean, I had a fun
Yeah.
time with it.
Also, for some reason, and I know this is like sort of tangential, but for some reason, Nickelodeon just really does not like referencing the 2003 Turtles for whatever reason.
I
I'm
hate
guessing
that because
because
that's
they,
my favorite one.
yeah, like I'm guessing it's because it's the version that they didn't really like have a hand in making because it's
Yeah,
the 4
poor
Kids Turtles,
kids.
but
But they
at the
own it
same
at this
time, they
point.
own it now, so like why
Yeah, I'm
not
like,
just
bitch, you
reference
sold the
it?
Turtles Forever movie for that series.
Yeah.
So how about give me some 2003 Turtles love? Because that's still the best Turtles to me, even with the shitty fast forward and Back to the Sewer seasons.
Hector series, yeah.
That's still the best series to me. I love
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
It's
You're still the best series to me.
Okay, thanks. I mean, I'll just say this: there's a freaking Akira reference in the Oath in the 2003's intro. That's enough to elevate it above the 80s version. I know it was. I don't think Akira was even out when the
When
80s
the
Turtles
80s,
first
yeah.
came out, but I just like Akira, so I just like seeing that reference pop up in so much media because that really does pop up a lot. I think I linked you guys a video where it
Violation.
just compiles
Yeah.
that iconic motorcycle slide moment.
Yeah.
So much media copies that, and it's a cool moment, so I don't blame them. And I love that the 2003 Turtles loved it so much they have it in the intro, so you see it in every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very surprised because I was like, well, it looks like this game is dead, and turns out it's not. But I'm happy.
I mean,
You know.
well, here's the thing, and to be fair, like lots of us fall into this trap. Even I do plenty of times, even now. Just because you don't hear about something doesn't mean it has no active scene. Like,
Yeah.
for example, I do not hear about. There's this like one MMO that I just genuinely the name escapes me right now, but it's a very hardcore MMO that's the big claim to fame with this one is that essentially the stories that happen in it become actual stories that pass around. Like, did you hear about what happened in recently in this MMO? hate that the name escapes me right now. That MMO is not talked about outside of those big moments that happen in the game and that gets passed around in like
Maple
gaming
Story.
circles. No, it's not Maple Story.
Lots of
It's
people
like a very
really like Maple
it's a
Story, by
very
the way.
sci-fi MMO. Let me see if I can find it. By like
Stargate.
Stargate has an MMO. What?
Wait, what? Oh,
Eve
it's not
Online. There you go. That's what I was
Oh,
thinking
Eve
of.
Online.
Yeah, Eve Online is very like a very very hardcore MMO, and you don't hear about it outside of those big moments where it's like, did you hear what happened in Eve Online like recently? But just because you don't hear about it often doesn't mean it doesn't have a scene. Clearly it does, and because the game's still available and all that, even though it's been a thing since like 2003 or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was just surprising to me because like it just like everyone was talking about it, and then just stopped hearing about it for a while, and I was like, damn, that was so quick. Um, but yeah, I did pick that up for PlayStation and Switch. I think I have it on Switch, digital and physical. So,
Yeah.
I got it digital because we were all at Comic-Con that weekend, and I didn't have the physical version with me, so I said, "Fuck it, let's get it, let's play it, and then I'll have the
Get it.
physical version for later, I guess, if I really want to." Um, and I just picked up the Kirby game, actually just recent, like 2 weeks ago, and I know Eric just got his today.
Yeah, literally before this podcast, I downloaded it.
And literally yesterday, like the same Amazon delivery guy left my fucking package out in the street again. It was Hyper Neptunia, Senran Kagura Ninja Wars.
What is that title?
It's a collab between Hyperdimension Neptunia and Senran Kagura.
Man, you're a full blown weeb at this point.
Hey man. Anyways,
He doesn't even fight it.
it seemed really cool. The game, I forgot what I actually don't even remember. Oh yeah, it's
Did
called
you say the gay?
It's called Neptunia X Senran Kagura Ninja Wars. I got it on Switch. It's interesting. I think I got it in January and it just came out. Like it just came in the other day. I haven't played it yet, but it looks really cool. It looks like a fighting game / RPG / beat 'em up kind of game. So and I did actually end up getting the Reflections with the full DLC, Senran Kagura, a while back with the nut button. So that's really nice. And yeah, I mean, I actually haven't even really picked up too many like PlayStation 5 games. I have the Spider-Man game. I went
Did
back
you finish it? Miles Morales?
like maybe 4 hours into it.
I mean, it's not a long game, so you're probably
Yeah.
like halfway through at least.
I think I'm still like trying to figure out what kind of games I want to play on the PlayStation because mostly as of recently it's just been Fortnite, which by the way looks amazing for Fortnite. Looks
PS5.
amazing on PlayStation 5 because again I've been playing Fortnite on my computer, which gaming computer like looked great and was doing 120 FPS easily, but like 4K TV versus like full HD 1440p can't beat it. Looks so good. And by the
Yeah.
way, Eric, that
You got
thing that you
four-
told me,
Huh?
that solution you told me where to change the Wi-Fi, it ended up working.
Oh yeah. That Wi-Fi change really helps with download speeds because for whatever reason, PlayStation sucks at that. Unless you edit it with that setting.
Yeah. So other than that, like I started playing again Arkham City. I want to go ahead and finish that because while I was playing Miles Morales, I was getting those like vibes, and we had just saw the Batman film about a month ago.
Oh yeah,
Which we'll
fantastic
talk about.
movie if you haven't seen it.
And I think literally the same night I got home, I literally just like plugged in Arkham City. I installed the game and I just like got back to it. And I'm like, this is so good. But it's really hard, by the way, to transition from Spider-Man back to Batman
Because the
because
combat is way
Yeah.
better in Spider-Man.
yeah, and also it's just so like the controls are so different, and I was like, fuck, I can't just mash circle button here, okay? um, like
I think
it's
Circle is stun in Batman.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, fuck, I can't do that here. So it was kind of weird. But I mean, I wanted to finish that story up, so I'll
You never
eventually finish
finished
it.
Arkham City in the past?
I only finished Arkham Asylum.
But you never like played it even when you were younger, like Arkham City?
No, I didn't have it.
Oh, because that game came out over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
was in
have
high
it
school
on.
at the time.
I had it. I had only Arkham Asylum on 360. I got it from
Arkham
GameStop.
Asylum was great. Yeah, that came out
Um,
2008, I think,
Yeah, I didn't have like I couldn't get
or
Arkham City
2009, one of the
because
two.
by that time it was just like always expensive. Like it didn't go down in price for a really long time, and by the time that it really like
2009. Okay.
was like in my reach for like money, it was like 2016 or something like that. And the PlayStation 4, I didn't have my PlayStation 4 yet, and they didn't even announce that they were coming out with a remaster of the two. Well, not remaster, just a compilation of the games, the first two.
I hear
games.
that Batman remaster is not great though in terms of the visuals. Like it messes some of the visuals up.
The Arkham Asylum, Arkham City.
Yeah.
On PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Well, I can't really compare anything because
I guess you
only
can't
seen...
because you never played the original.
I played the original Arkham Asylum.
Well, no, but not City. I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. But it looks fine to me personally.
All right.
So it's fine. I play as the Batman Beyond, not Batman Beyond, Batman Beyond. Yeah, I play as the Batman Beyond skin all the time because I
That
don't
is a
know.
cool skin.
It's my
Plus,
favorite.
Batman Beyond is just cool. So.
It's just my favorite version of Batman. I don't know. Like I feel like
Admittedly, it looks kind of weird on Bruce Wayne himself, even though I know
Yeah,
he wore it
it
in the
does.
show.
it does look weird
does.
because his
I mean, he wears it in the
ass.
first
I'm
episode.
sorry,
Yeah,
his
'cause we're
ass
so
is
used to
so
seeing Terry in the
chiseled.
suit.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
He
He
clenches
looks.
those ass cheeks tight.
He
part of being
does.
Batman.
I'm so sorry, but like I literally
Because
when
we're
I
so used to
changed.
seeing Terry in the suit, and he's like very
Yeah.
slim in it. So
When
like seeing like big ass buff Bruce Wayne in it, it's like
Yeah.
very off-putting
When
sometimes.
I
But
see
Terry's
the-
slim in the sense that that's just how the art style makes him look.
Yeah.
Terry
Style,
does
yeah.
work out, so I mean, I'm sure he's buff. It's just he's not Bruce Wayne buff because he's
Yeah.
not an old man.
Yeah.
But like you change it to like it's like in Miles Morales, you give him the Spider-Verse suit. It works out fine, but when you add I'll be very honest with you, when you add those extra like Spider-Verse quirks to it, like the suit effects or whatever, it like it looks, the concept is cool, but my eyes start hurting when I'm seeing that. Like I'm okay with like the sound, like the quote unquote sound effects, like the pow and stuff like that. But I was really weirded out by the movement mechanic. I don't know if you've seen that, the both of you. There's like
City?
no in Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
I don't think I've seen it, no.
Whoa, wait, the movement mechanic? What are
Like
you
when
talking
you
about,
change
actually?
into the Spider-Verse suit, and you have like
Oh, well, because it drops the frame rate to
yeah,
Spider-Verse.
it drops the frame rate, and I'm just like, oh, this is like I don't know. The concept is cool, but I just can't play on it for like too long. Like I think just having the option is cool, but I just really can't play for.
By
too
the way,
long.
are you making sure to prioritize the frame rate in that game so
Yes.
that you get 60 frames per second? I think you need
100%,
to go to performance ray tracing mode. That's
Yeah,
the mode
yeah.
you want to use.
That's actually the one that I'm using.
Yeah,
on
because
it.
ray tracing, you could have performance is like, frame rate,
Right.
obviously. Ray tracing mode is like visuals are even better, and performance ray tracing is like in the middle. Like it's still 60, but there's still some ray tracing in there too. So that's
Yeah.
the mode I recommend personally. Because I mean, ray tracing does look really nice in that game and stuff, but I prefer 60 frames per second. So
Fair. Yeah. I was very, I don't know, like I was actually playing it and really enjoying it. And I think I played on the Spider-Verse where they dropped the frame rates for maybe like a whole hour, and I was just getting like really, it was getting
I like the
very-
suit a lot.
I
Like,
do.
The suit looks cool.
I'm sticking to the suit. Like I don't really care. I'm sticking to the suit. But I like the other effects on it. I'm just gonna drop those for now.
I
really
also
can't-
say I really dig the hoodie suit.
yeah, that's a really
a
good
lot.
one too.
for Miles. It just fits really well with him.
By the way, just for any of my sneakerheads out there, he is wearing a pair of Adidas Superstars
Yep.
and not a pair of Jordan 1s, which he was wearing in the Spider-Verse game. The Spider-Verse movie. He was wearing
Gotta
a pair
watch
of
out
Air
for that
Jordan
Spider-Verse
1s.
game.
Which were a really cool pair of Air Jordan 1s, by the way. I did have them for a little bit before I let them
Oh man, I just realized if this fucking podcast is coming back, we're gonna have more Lawrence flub moments like
Yeah.
NFL 2K.
By the way,
stuff.
you guys are assholes for that, by the way. Sorry, I'm just going to say it. When I went to book off the other day,
All right,
NFL
you gotta put that
2K3.
on. You gotta put that on Isaac and Eric. Like, I was just in the background laughing at it.
Okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
You guys
Oh, no,
minus
actually,
Ray.
all right, look.
Also, in all fairness, it was a legitimate flub though.
It was a
like,
flub. Also, here's the
because
thing.
you were not referring to those games.
I
Yeah,
wasn't.
because you weren't referring to the games. It was still a legitimate flub. Also, while NFL 2K games did exist in the past, they have not existed for so long, over a decade at this point. So you can't blame us for forgetting that they used to make those games. Like, I'm sorry. Plus, I did apologize anyway when she showed me. Like, look, it exists. I was like,
You
okay,
guys-
fine. Fair enough.
Although, Lawrence, where is NFL 2K2?
Yeah.
only showed
Also,
us 2K3
Lawrence,
and
where's
2K1.
Spider-Man Episode 9?
NFL
Spider-Man
2K2
episode
does
9.
exist. It does
Alright,
exist.
but where's
Look it up.
Spider-Man Episode 9? Where does that one exist?
Spider-Man Episode 9 is No Way Home.
Shut up. That's not true.
The bootleg DVD? What was it, like Spider-Man 8 or something like
Yeah,
that?
Episode 8.
Yeah.
Or Spider-Man 8. No Way
Also,
Home.
No Way Home is the 8th movie, so
Okay.
you're wrong there too. Because there was 3
But-
in Raimi,
but-
2 in Amazing, and then
but-
3 in
Two.
MCU.
Unless you
Yeah.
count Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, Into the Spider-Verse.
Shut up.
That's
That's
see
a
it?
separate.
Is
that's
it?
separate.
Is it though?
In all fairness,
It is.
that's not connected to the MCU yet. Like, unless they
Oh,
ever
yeah.
have
Yes.
plans to do that.
A
'Cause
big
'cause
asterisk.
They will do it. They would do it.
I only say that because they keep talking about the possibility of Tom Holland showing up in that, and then people are also like, because at the end of Venom, they had that whole thing was like in another universe, and then they showed a preview of Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Like, if we take that at face value, then it's somewhere in the Marvel movie multiverse.
Speaking
it is.
of, by the way, Eric, you brought this up earlier, but turns out that they lied to us. And Across the Spider-Verse is not coming out this year. It's coming out next year.
They lied. They delayed it. What do you mean they lied to
No,
us?
they lied to us.
Yo,
Oh my
I
god.
hate. Yo, this isn't a jab at Lawrence, I swear, but
You
I
No,
hate when
do it.
people,
Do it. Jab him.
I hate when people are like, "Yo, you lied to us," and it's like, no, they just made a mistake, or like they just like misspoke or something like
No,
that.
they lied to us.
shit
It's
happens.
not a
So they
deliberate
need
lie.
more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they lied to us.
They lied. Yeah, they lied. It's fucking Christ. I will say, to go back a tiny bit, I remember I showed Ray my OLED Switch because I wanted to show it to him, and he was blown away by it. So I hope
Yeah.
you get one soon.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, it is really night and day. When like after using it, it makes the OG Switch look like a fucking kid's toy in comparison.
No, it really
Like
does.
that bezel shrinkage alone is massive, honestly, for it. Uh Yeah, I also did want to say,
Commit
in
tax
regards
fraud?
to the
Commit tax fraud?
no,
Oh.
what? Okay. And in regards to the whole PS5 storage thing, I actually have not needed to install an SSD yet because I don't have a ton of stuff installed on my PS5 yet. But I do plan on doing it eventually. Once I actually need it, though. For now, I still have plenty of space on my PS5 because unlike before, I'm not just gonna have 8 million things installed. So I've learned my lesson there.
Right. Totally.
No, I did not commit tax fraud. Stop asking, Lawrence.
It's so
but-
funny.
Okay. But I did want to ask Ray, when you start Persona 5 Royal though, definitely keep me in the loop there because I want to see your reactions to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like there are story beats that I'm already aware of because I did check out the anime beforehand. In like
Well,
the
you're
lead
not
up-
going to be aware of the Royal exclusive stuff.
Well, yeah, not changes in Royal, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I did watch the anime to prepare
Yeah,
like for Smash Brothers, which obviously like is not a replacement for the game. Like, I always had intentions of playing the full thing because I know obviously there's much differences between that and the actual game because there's
yeah.
so much like story that you're gonna miss out because it's several hours long. So,
Several
but
hours.
with the anime though, I did watch that just to get ready for Smash because I didn't want to like learn about like who the characters are and all that. And even just from watching the anime, like I'm very intrigued with like the setting and the concepts and all that. Like I really enjoy the cast of characters and I'm excited to like formally meet them and experience the differences that Royal has and just seeing everything the game has to offer and just actually feeling like, yeah, I am like, the leader of the Phantom Thieves. So
Yeah, it's interesting because Persona 5, I recall we did a podcast when the original came out.
yeah.
And and I was super into it at the time. But me and a lot of other people kind of mellowed out on it after the honeymoon phase ended, and while some of it turned on the game like hard, I was more like it's fine. Like it is what it is. I think I prefer the other two modern games, 3 and 4. But then I heard so many I saw, Royal got announced, and I planned on playing it, but I wasn't planning on picking it up anytime soon. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check out what they do with it. But I kept hearing so many people saying it's like, yeah, Royal just fucking really fixes that game up a lot, and its additions are some of the best things in the series. And I was like, wow, okay, that is some high praise because the previous expanded release for a mainline Persona game, Golden, had a bit of a mixed reaction, at least in regards to certain additions and changes that were made with that version that originally came out on Vita before it got ported to Steam. So I was like, okay, I'm really intrigued now. So I sort of fast tracked my decision on playing that game, and I played it, last year in 2021. And yeah, I gotta say, what everyone was saying was right. I I went from like being, yeah, Persona 5's cool, but not that into it anymore, to just falling in love all over again with Royal. I loved the a lot. All the changes are great in my opinion, gameplay wise, etc. But the additional characters and story are honestly some of the best in modern Persona that we've seen in a while. I would say, like the shit they do with Akechi, because Akechi had an automatic social link in the original, but in Royal, it's not automatic anymore. You actually have to hang out with him. It doesn't just level up as you progress in the story. And that really changes so much. His social link is one of the best in the entire series now. Maybe the best, honestly. I would go that far. And that's coming from someone who loves stuff like the Sun social link in Persona 3. And the new character Kasumi, I think she's really well done. She gave me a lot of Persona 1 Maki vibes. The new story in general with Royal, like the epilogue that they add in there, really gave me a lot of Persona 1 vibes, like overall, which I really dug because I like that game a lot. Persona 1. It's the gameplay might be a little tricky for people who are super used to modern Persona, but I dug that game a fair bit. So it was really cool to see like what felt like in some ways homages to it. But also, I loved the other new character, Maruki, the counselor. He's one of the best characters that Persona has had in a while. And just that entire stretch of the game, where it's just the new story, was honestly some of the best writing Persona has done in a long time. I would say. I would go as far as what a lot of my friends were saying. It's literally some of the best content in Persona, period. Like not even just for modern Persona, just for the whole series. It genuinely made me excited for the future of the series. Because before, I was like, yeah, I'll check it out, but Persona 5 I'm just kind of okay on these days, so I wasn't that excited for Persona 6. But then I found out, there's new blood in the Persona team at Atlas, and this new blood they directed Royal, so they were in charge of all the changes and the new story and characters with Royal, and I loved it. So I'm like, I can't wait to see this new team have a whole game in their hands instead. And granted, I guess they have done that because apparently they also did Persona Q2, which I hear is legitimately one of the best spin-off games, and a genuine surprise at how much people really like that one. I have it and I started it, but it suffered from being a game I started in grad school when I was going through hell, so I just didn't get super far in it. So I want to go back to it eventually, but when it comes to mainline Persona, I can't wait for the next one if it's the same team that did Royal, because it really just turned my opinion around.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, honestly. And by the way, just since you brought up Persona Q2, I just want to mention I really love that intro, dude.
Oh yeah, that intro is
Yeah.
one of my faves. I
Uh,
retweeted it a little while ago.
yeah, whenever I feel nostalgic and I just want to listen to that again, I just have that on repeat, and it's like, wow, this is like real. Because you said they brought in like the singers from the past, like
Yep,
Persona games
from
to
Persona
like
3,
do
Persona
that.
4, and Persona 5, Lyn.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
It is one of my favorite openings, and it's for a 3DS spin-off, so that says a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just I want to play that game. I really do. I just need to make the time for it. It's a big RPG, and I just finished Elden Ring, so I don't know if I'm in the mood for a long ass game like that for a bit of time. But I definitely want to try. If not this year, then maybe early next year, because everyone tells me it's just as good as like the new stuff in Royal. Like yeah, this new Persona team is just hitting home runs apparently. So I can't wait. I liked what I played. Like cuz I played like the first dungeon essentially of PQ2 and I was like, yeah, this is great. It's just, grad school hell. Oh boy, I don't have time and then I just didn't keep up with
Died.
it.
Oh. What the hell
What was
happened?
that? What happened there?
I said died, and then you literally
And then
died.
everyone's
You literally died. I was
I did
joking.
not literally die.
it's like that YouTube poop of like SpongeBob like, nah, die, and then Squidward.
COVID-19, Mr. Squidward.
Oh god.
That's a little bit of our trolling there. Um, but that's good though. Like I really do have to like get in like finally play PlayStation. Persona
PlayStation? Yeah,
5.
you gotta play
You finally
PlayStation, bro.
play PlayStation, dude.
There it is.
There's the first flub.
I gotta
Gotta play
play Persona
PlayStation.
5 and Persona 5 Royal.
Happy Easter, PlayStation.
Pretty sure I have them both on my both on there already. So
Well, you
um
have Persona 3 on your Vita, so there's that.
yeah,
I think you also have Persona 4 on your Vita now that I think about it.
I do.
Persona 4
That is
Golden.
correct. I do.
So there we go.
Yeah, I don't
So
think you have Royal.
Lawrence can cover P3. You guys together can cover P4, and then you and me can cover P5.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
But Eric is gonna be like, if you'll ever play it.
I literally went out of my way to say that was a joke, and I just wanted to take a jab at you because you've been doing so much to Ray. But yeah, I'll say it again if you really want me to.
Oh my god. But yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to get into that. I don't know.
At this point, you might as well restart because you have not played that save file
No,
of yours for P3 in so
when was the
long.
last time I played
Do
it? Last
not,
summer.
no, do
last
not,
summer.
No, it was not last summer.
It was last
definitely not.
summer.
No, it was not.
The last time
No,
I
it's
touched
not.
my Vita was last summer.
Nah.
I was asking you for help. You can look up the receipts, man.
Maybe you were.
Eric,
All right.
nah.
I was asking you for help. I was like, yo,
Okay, look.
so
The
like, how
only
do
reason
I
I say
do
that is
this?
because I'm the kind of person where if I take a huge hiatus on a game, I just restart. Cause I'm gonna go in and be like, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I don't remember how this plays. I don't know how anything works. I'm just gonna restart. That's how
Yeah.
I.
Well,
That's
you know
what happens to
what
me when I go
happened
back to a game that I've been put on hiatus for a while.
after
That's
the
why I'm saying like
first-
maybe you should restart.
after the first boss in that game, like it wasn't too hard. Well, it was a little challenging, but like I was able to get through it. And Eric then was like the fuck, it was challenging, dude. It's like that's the
Look,
easiest boss in
that
the
is-
entire game, and I'm like,
Look.
oh.
Look, I've apologized for a lot of my actions in
No,
the past.
no.
I took it a little too far, admittedly, where I'm like, "Are you dumb?"
No,
like
I didn't. You didn't say that. I was just. I mean, I was just saying that. Like you did say that.
It's something
And then,
I regret.
but
and
you
I
weren't. No,
apologize
no,
for
you
it.
weren't wrong though.
But-
Because as soon as I got into the next dungeon in Tartarus, all of a sudden I literally am struggling to like like live, because my team I think was only like level 8
And bro, choose
or
life.
level. I think the highest member of my team was like level 12 or something like that. And all the enemies were like level 14, 15, 21, and I'm like, bruh, I'm
Were
just
you
gonna get.
skipping enemies?
No,
Like,
it's
well,
just between the last boss and the last floor in Tartarus, and where the last floor, the first part of Tartarus, and when you go to that second part of Tartarus, there is just like a level. There's a level gap between those enemies. You know this.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I just
and
don't
but the
remember,
thing
at
is,
least in
the
P3P.
lowest enemy there is like a level 15, and I'm just like, damn. So you're telling me I really have to go back and grind on the first
That's why I'm confused, because I mean, look, I know maybe my opinion is going to be a little biased because I've played P3 like a billion times at this point, and P4. So like I just never have issues with that game because I've played it a billion times. But I don't know. I've never heard newcomers struggle to the point where they actually had to actively grind in P3P. I want to be specific there. FES is a little harder than P3P,
I
but
think.
yeah,
Do I
that's
have
kind of surprising,
yeah.
honestly.
No, I'll get back into it. It won't be too bad. That's the good news. I mean, it's fun. It's enjoyable. Once I got through that, past that, like, once I finally was able to progress again, because I was apparently doing something very wrong. It was easy for me to start moving forward. But then I was just like, damn, I'm so low level right now. I really can't do anything.
Did you not level up from the boss on the train?
I did, but not too much. Not enough for me to like,
I
you
don't know,
know.
man. I've never heard of someone saying that they were under leveled for the enemies after that boss, so that's surprising for me. I don't know what to say.
It's like, I don't know what to say, man. You fucked, I guess.
Just restart again, like
Oh
I
my
like I
god.
recommended earlier.
Well, but that's I guess also part. I guess the good news. Ever since I started the new job, I have a lot more time to like, do the things I want to do. So, and that includes play games. So, the first game I want to be able to tackle is Miles Morales. Just go ahead and finish that up. And then I do wanna. I stopped playing Metroid Dread a while back, so I do want to go
You didn't
back and finish.
finish?
No, not yet. I have to go back and finish it.
Not even that long of a game.
It's not. It's a 5-hour game, and I'm like three. I'm literally 75% of the way there. And you know what?
Look,
Ray's made this joke about me before, and I'm gonna throw him
what
under
is
the
it?
bus for now. He said that I am literally Finbar Calamitous. Um,
Oh, God.
You can't finish
That's
it.
honestly not far off. Because here's the thing,
Jerk.
I've made fun of you about this before too, and like I said, it's something that when I look back on, I was like, I was probably being too harsh and too mean.
But no, it's
So
not. It's true
apologies for
though.
that.
It's true though.
Because I remember one instance that at the time I was annoyed by. Because I remember you were getting into Kara no Kyokai, those movies, the K and K movies,
Yeah.
and you got to the literal like I think you only had like
Second to
one movie
last.
left.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you know what? Instead of spending an hour and a half just watching this final movie, I'm gonna spend like 8 weeks going through this Gotham through this one show. And I'm like,
I remember this.
why? Like, just finish it. Like, it's 1.5 hours. Just watch that first and then move to Gotham. And I remember at the time, like I said, I apologize when I look back on it. I was just like, why would you do that? Like, I was being a little aggressive and confrontational. So nowadays I'm saying, you do you, but at the same time, Ray is not far off. I guess he also has noticed that because yeah, instead of just finishing off a movie series that had one movie left at 1.5 hours, you spent like a month watching Gotham instead.
Hey, Gotham was great, by the way. I think we already did that retrospective, but Gotham was great. And I mean, it's actually like that's actually a really good.
It's so good. He just said "fuck K and K," and I'm just gonna watch this now.
Gotham.
But like I
Fuck
guess
that anime shit.
I do want to finish. I want to finish Metroid, and I want to get into finish up Miles Morales, and then the next game I want to get back to is Arkham City, um, and finish that up, which is gonna be nice. Um, and then we'll see where I go from there. Um, for anybody watching this in the future, that probably may not have happened, but you know what? We're gonna pretend
Hold
like it
to
did.
it.
Hold me to it, and in like 2 or 3 years or something like that, I'll just be like, "Hey, guess what? I fucking finished, jerks."
Well,
um,
Lawrence, to your credit, you'll finish it before Isaac finishes his GTA
you
playthrough.
are not wrong, and by the time he uploads Vice City Part 3, I still will be on top of the game. Oh, but
By the
or
time he uploads Vice City Part 3, I'll probably be dead.
oh my god,
Oh my god.
of natural causes, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. Alright,
So Batman the movie, was
I
really
actually
good.
need to go to the bathroom, so y'all talk about this.
I
All you
was
need to know is that I love the movie, and I think Robert Pattinson and Paul Dano and everyone did amazing. And I think it's probably the best live action Batman. So yeah,
I
I'll
agree.
be back.
So I
gotcha.
think what's interesting to me is that you know Robert Pattinson. I feel like there was a lot of. I think this is probably something is that there was a lot of the expectations were low in general. I think because everybody was like, "There's no fucking way
The
this."
vampire guy from Twilight, how could he play a good Batman?
Yeah, they were saying that. They were saying how the last iteration of Batman, Ben Affleck was not a bad Batman. He was just placed in a really bad situation. That's my take on that. So that's
Also,
unfortunate.
well, there's also to take in consideration, like, people holding like Christian Bale's performance, very highly as one of the
Yeah,
best like Batman actors ever. Which, to his credit, he is
he
like
is
one
a
of the
good
best Batman
Batman.
actors.
Yeah,
But so it would be like a tricky thing to like live up to. But at the same time, I feel like it can be done, and evidently it was pretty much accomplished. So
yeah. No, it was, and I think that's something that I also really enjoyed about the character. I feel like also the story was just so well made. Like you would think that damn, they put 3 or 4 villains in there. This is going to be a Spider-Man 3 debacle all over again. No, definitely not. It was just fine. Penguin and Riddler and I mean Catwoman technically. I mean she's a villain and she's anti-hero, whatever.
yeah.
Um and then the Joker was technically in it. Did I
Or I
just
guess
Did I just spoil it? Well, if you haven't seen the movie by now, you suck. I'm sorry. Um,
Well, I will say this. I will say this. So you can watch the movie right now on HBO Max if you have a
oh yeah,
subscription to it.
right. That's true.
At the same time, technically Warner Brothers did kind of spoil his presence in the movie because they uploaded that deleted scene online and it
Yeah.
kind of went viral. So I
Okay.
imagine for some people who probably didn't see it, they might have been spoiled by that. So
Yeah.
if you were spoiled by it legitimately, apologies for that. But at the same time, it's like, it
It is
was
what it
kind of
is.
online for a
It
time.
is what
So
it is.
yeah.
No, yeah, joke. I mean, I guess that he's not really like a big
He doesn't
villain
really
in
have a
it.
big role anyway, so it's
Yeah,
like,
it was just a
yeah.
cameo. Um, there was a was there a third villain? Am I
Also,
wrong?
it's a fucking Batman movie. Like, do you not expect the Joker to show up at some point?
Yeah.
But anyways, there was some villains. I don't want to spoil too much of it because it relates to the main plot, but there are some like, other antagonists
Am
in
I
there,
am
like
I forgetting anyone? It was just Riddler and Penguin, pretty much.
Riddler. Penguin's kind of like he does have a prominent role in the movie, but he's not like a major
He's not a major
player in the grand
villain.
scheme
He's
of things.
just like well, no, he's
He's
a
just
villain.
there,
I
and
really don't
he's a
know how to
villain, but like
describe him.
it's, Penguin's a mob boss in this movie.
Yeah,
Like he literally like he's kind of different from how we are usually used to seeing him. Well, I will say this: he's much different from how he was back in the Tim Burton films.
yeah,
That was like a wildly different Penguin, but in this film, he's just straight up like a gangster. Like
yeah. And he's
you
actually
pretty much see him like
badass. He's
yeah.
actually like I don't know. Maybe I'm just so used to
Reject!
the penguin we got
Pay
in
off my money!
Gotham, which by the way is
Yeah.
still one of my favorite versions of
Oh, Swolt
Oh, Penguin.
Cobblepot.
He's so like I forgot his name. He's such a good he was such a good penguin. And it's funny actually because that actor, I forget I'm like blanking out right now. Um, Robin Lord Taylor. He was in I actually ended up watching You, that Netflix show recently. It has 3 seasons on Netflix, and they're doing a fourth. He was in the second season of this show, You, and I just had so much trouble trying to separate Penguin from his character
Yeah,
there. Um, but
that can happen.
and even when we were watching the new Batman movie, I just kept thinking like I just kept trying to connect the two because in the original Batman, Bruce Wayne and Oswald were like friends. Not friends, but like they work together. Just like in general, like um what's his name? Gordon and everybody, they all like knew each other. They all worked together. Essentially. Like even like Riddler and Penguin, they work together to stop to stop the mob bosses or to stop like Joker, to stop like they really put their heads together, or to stop the mayor or something like that. Like it was so interesting to me, how they were able to do that literally, and then I just kept thinking that this that Gotham now is like, if you consider it in the main continuity, is not relevant. Like it's a whole different universe now because apparently they just don't know each other. Because I guess in this one, Batman, like at the end
Oh
of
yeah,
Gotham, the very last episode, they finally reveal Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, and I think he had been Batman. He literally just became Batman like within a couple like I think couple months of becoming Batman. In that last episode, they like flash forward to that point.
yeah. But yeah, I
Um,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, obviously Gotham is set in its own continuity because I mean, Selena and Bruce know each other like as kids in
yeah,
that show, and it's like they're meeting for the first time in this movie. So it's definitely there's been many different like reinterpretations of Batman's origins. Like there's the Batman Year One movie, which I think was an adaptation of a comic.
right,
There was a lot of Year One vibes in the Batman movie actually.
yeah,
Now that I think about it, because it's Batman's like first time on the streets and all that. Like I think he's like 2 years in at this point in the movie, if I'm not mistaken. So like, he's still pretty like fresh in the job compared to like what we usually see. Well, actually, this is a good not to
I'm back.
spiral off from. Hey, welcome
yeah,
back. I guess not to spiral off from like what you were talking about with Gotham and all that. I will honestly compliment the movie with this. I do like how we don't have to see Bruce Wayne's parents gunned off in
yeah,
the beginning
yeah.
of the movie again. Like
Honestly,
I really enjoy how they never really show that. They just like throw us right into Batman like already like not
as
obviously
Because
Batman.
everyone knows it,
well
really.
seasoned. Yeah, like he's already like he's 2 years in basically to his job. So
Yeah, and that's also something that I realized. Like they took a hint from Spider-Man because obviously Spider-Man, Batman, they're
pretty
some
much
of the
like
biggest,
intertwined. Yeah,
and they're
similar.
some of the biggest like comic book and superhero like uh icons
Like
out there. So when they
Superman,
found
Batman, and
out,
Spider-Man are pretty much like the top three heroes like
yeah,
that are most recognizable.
and when you find out that in Spider-Man they literally just like said, "Okay, you all know that his uncle Ben got shot and died. Let's not talk about it anymore." And they just jump straight into like, he's Spider-Man, he got bit by a radioactive spider, you don't need to know anything else. And this one they're just like, his parents died when he was young, he's been Batman for 2 years, that's it. Like I'm just like, that's so great, honestly. Well,
Yeah.
not the tragedy. I just mean the fact that he became Batman.
And
But
honestly,
like,
in it in an already packed like 3 hour
Murder.
adventure, like it helps for pacing reasons that they cut that out because like really it would have honestly not
Yeah,
even
it's
added much
true. It's a
to it.
3-hour movie already, so if they
Yeah.
had that, it would be a bit too
It's a
long, I
good
think.
3 hours though. Like
Yeah,
I honestly
definitely.
think it's well paced, but it definitely they made a good decision not putting it in the movie.
Yeah, and again, like even like just in general, it was just such a really good movie, and like at times it did like there were like I feel like it was just well paced, but then at times there were times where I was like, damn, this movie's still going. I was like, damn, there's another thing that's gonna happen. Wow, he's
I
still
will
going, but like
say
not in a bad way. It's just
for
like you know,
for a 3 hour movie, I at least appreciate that it kept me engaged the entire time.
yeah,
Cause like
same.
when it comes to other movies that are really long, like say Shutter Island, like I always often bring this example up, but when I went to go see that movie in theaters, it really felt like I was on the island at that point. Cause like it really became like a whole like mind trip with like all the shit the main character was going through in that. And that's not like to, insult like that movie basically, but I really appreciate when movies just use their time well. Like
Yeah,
when
same.
if it's gonna be
Yeah, yeah,
long, like
definitely.
just go straight, forward with it. Like don't keep me like in there for too long.
I would also like to mention that Batman does not have his signature flying capabilities in this movie. He has the flying
You mean
squirrel.
the cape?
Yes, the glider, the
Oh,
gliding
that's what you
cape.
meant. Okay.
Like
He
in
has,
Arkham.
yeah, he only has the flying squirrel costume, um, or glider, sorry,
And he eats shit
which
for
ends
a
up
while.
failing, yeah, which ends up failing very fast too.
Which
So
honestly, he fails at that in that scene, obviously, but I like that because it shows that like, he's still not like that good at what he does. Like it
yeah,
shows that he still has a lot to like perfect with, doing that. Because
yeah,
he's still starting out. So
and that's something that also like I found just really interesting is like that they did show a little bit of that character development in that way. It's just like he's not really Batman that we know him in like number 852 of the comics, you know, like that's not the
pretty much
Batman
is
we
that at
know.
this point.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's pretty much where we're at. Probably more, but like you know we're not there. We are maybe issue number 20 or 30 maybe. And he's still trying to figure everything out. Like even his relationship with Alfred, he's still trying to figure that out, which is jarring to me too because it's like we always know Alfred to be like the you know the
The
like
one bit of family he has left.
yeah, and then in this one he's like really trying to figure out is Alfred his friend or not. I'm just like, wow, that goes way that's really way back. Um you know, and again it's a contrast to what we see in Gotham because Alfred pretty much is the caretaker. He really becomes like a father figure to him in Gotham. So in this one, I'm not saying he's not a father figure, but definitely less of father figure that we see in this movie of Alfred. We don't see too much of Alfred too. Like again, compared to Gotham, Alfred is in pretty much every other episode or every episode. But then in this movie, like he's and I'm not trying to compare apples to oranges, of course, because I know series and different universes. But um, the reason, Eric, that I'm bringing up Gotham is because like that was the like that was the kind of vibe that I kept like or
Why
that
is she
those are
singling me out for that?
because you weren't
It's
here.
not like I get mad when
Oh
I
no,
hear the word.
no, because you weren't here when I was talking about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, I just bring it up because I had a lot of questions when we were watching the movie of like, wait a minute, don't Penguin and Bruce know each other from like if you watch Gotham, they know each other, and then in my head I'm thinking, yeah, different universes, like different continuities, but at the same time I'm like, wow, that just means the entire like canon is just gone pretty much, or it's a different, completely just like on a different island at this point. Um, but yeah, so like, and it's funny because they also have that Alfred show that came out. I don't know if it's still going. It's called
What's it
Pennyworth.
called? Alfred? Okay.
It's called Pennyworth.
You guys just call it Alfred.
And
I would love it if they did that.
it has two seasons, and they're coming out with a third one on HBO Max. So you can pretty much watch it all on HBO Max. But I heard it's really good. It just kind of goes to the whole like through the whole like backstory of Alfred. He's pretty like, I mean, the way they portray him is like he's pretty much Kingsman material. Like if you've ever watched the Kingsman movies, he's like pretty much like a member of the
Yeah.
Kingsmen. And it's just really interesting because the very last Kingsman movie that came out, The Kingsman, which
Isn't that a prequel?
yeah, I still haven't got. I'm still trying my best to get through it. Like I think the two times that I tried to watch it, I literally fell asleep. Not in a bad way, it's just I was tired.
Dude, you know what the funny thing is? Like, I won't spoil anything really because I haven't seen the movie, but my dad watched that movie and he's like a huge fan of the Kingsman movies.
Yeah.
He did not enjoy that movie. so-
Yeah,
Really?
it's
Damn.
Yeah.
really poorly paced, like in a weird way.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Like I don't know, and I won't really spoil too much if you don't care for it. But a very important character dies very early in the movie.
In the game?
Yeah,
game.
and like that's literally like that character just dies. Like you spend the first entire half of the movie like getting to know him, and then he just dies. And you're like, what the fuck? And then that was
You're
around the
like,
time
"Rip."
that that was around the time I clocked out. Like I was just like, I don't know what just happened, but something happened. This guy's dead, and now I don't know what to think. So I still
Regular
have
Friday
to
night for you.
like. I really enjoyed the first two Kingsman movies. Like I watched them over and over again. I bought them on Amazon because I wanted to own them, just so that like in case they ever got left streaming services. They're on Disney, by the way, because Fox owns Disney. I mean, yeah, Disney
Yeah?
owns Fox.
There's the other
There we
plug.
go.
So both of the Kingsman movies are there, but the Kingsman I don't think is there yet. Unless if it is, it's probably coming out soon on there. But I didn't like it. But anyways, going back to Alfred. That was the kind of vibe I was getting from watching the Kingsman or watching or when I was watching the trailer for Pennyworth, is that Alfred is literally a member of the Kingsmen. But it's so interesting, and I definitely do want to check out that series because it seems really cool. And thankfully you don't need to know anything about you don't have to watch something before you get into it. But yeah, so that kind of going back to the Batman with Robert Pattinson Twilight dude, is
Yeah?
like you really don't get to see that relationship form too much between him and Alfred. And I think it's still different from the way that they've portrayed Alfred in the past movies for Batman, because like even in like the Dark Knight trilogy, Alfred is like he's just there, like he's not really he's not as important as they've made him out to be, for example, in Gotham or even in this movie. Like they make him out to be a little more important than in the other movies, I would say. And even in the Ben Affleck Batman movies, like Alfred is important, but he's not really again, he's just there, and that's kind of a way I guess that you can tell like that this movie definitely played it a little more different. And you got to see kind of like that relationship build a little bit, but it's still didn't focus on it as much as maybe I would have liked. I like to see that relationship. I don't know. I feel like that's very defining of Batman because Alfred is like the titular the character that takes care of Bruce when he's like sad or whatever, or he's upset. I mean, he's the one that literally helps to code the cipher. Which, by the way, there is literally an ARG going on right now. If you go to Alada Dorada,
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever it's called,
The Riddler's website from the movie is actually real. You
Yeah.
can go on it.
and it updates so frequently. Like every few days, there's a new cipher that you have to unlock, and it gives you like images or trailers or like videos and stuff like that for the future film that's coming out. And so like I think that's so cool. I don't know, like the fact, and these ciphers are actually kind of challenging. Like some people, like there's a whole community dedicated to solving these ciphers together, because it's just that difficult. So you guys want to check it out? It's really cool. I think it's Alada Dorada or Arada Delata. I don't really remember. um,
El Rata Elada.
El Rata Alada.
Yeah. You can
Yes.
just Google like the Batman Riddler movie website, you know.
Yeah.
They
It's
actually they had the URL at the very end of the movie, like
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like I guess the post-credit scene, if you
the
will.
very end post credit, yeah.
Yeah, and so they right now the GCPD has actually seized the website. I think they're saying that if you want it, like if you want, you can just there's somewhere that you click on the page or something like that, and it'll like um, it'll take you to the cipher or whatever. But yeah, it was very interesting. I think if you ever
Where do
get a
you click?
chance, I don't know. I haven't followed up with the cipher in a while, but it's like really trending on TikTok and on Reddit right now. Um, yeah, give your guys thoughts. Your thoughts on the movie, since we're here.
Nah.
You go first.
Who?
You go first, Eric.
Oh, sorry, I was just
Good
drinking
movie.
some water. That's it. Good movie. Done. Yeah, I really liked it. Like I said before I went to the bathroom, I think it's probably the best live action Batman, and that says a lot because there have been some good Batman movies in the past,
Yeah, considering
like
what's
the
come before it, that's like a huge like, you know, kind of
accomplishment.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, accomplishment.
Like we have the Tim Burton Batman movies, and while I know that the Nolan ones isn't everyone's cup of tea, they were very popular at the time. So that says a lot. I got to give major props to the acting basically across the board, but especially for me, the two standouts were Robert Pattinson. He just killed it as Batman, and I'm so glad because I'm really happy with the way his career has gone because literally once Twilight ended, he was just knocking shit out of the park with like some of the indie movies he was doing and stuff. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen The Lighthouse. He's in that. I would highly
Oh yeah, I've seen
recommend
The
it.
Lighthouse.
Yeah, it's a great movie and he's great in it. He's like he's a great actor. So when I heard he was cast as Bruce Wayne Batman, I was like, yeah, no, I'm totally down with this. And of course, some fucking nerds still thought it was 2012, I guess, and they were
Yeah,
like, oh, the
I did.
guy who played Edward from Twilight.
Yeah, I made that
No.
joke earlier when you went to the bathroom. I was like, the vampire from Twilight's playing Batman. This is gonna suck ass, B.
It's just like, bro, it's been like 10 years since those movies ended. You gotta let it go.
Give the dude a chance. Like,
Like,
even he said those movies sucked ass and he didn't like being
yeah,
in
like
them.
he's made fun of them plenty of times in interviews and stuff. So it's just like, if anything, he was on your side. It's just really weird that some people are just still hung up over that. Where it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
It was a movie that was super into that teenage girls were super into at the time. Whatever. It is what it is. And that said, I mean, to give credit to those movies, it actually has a really good action scene at the very end. Like literally in the second part of Breaking Dawn. Surprisingly, some good action in it. I don't know why. I guess they went all out for that one.
Yeah, they did.
But
It's just like in the last Harry Potter movie. There was like that final battle, which was actually kind of decent.
yeah, like it was actually a pretty good fight. Uh, but yeah, like Robert Pattinson, he was great, which I was not surprised by. If you've seen any movie he's done post Twilight, you would not be surprised that he knocked it out of the park. Paul Dano was probably my second favorite actor in there. I just loved his rendition of the Riddler. Granted, it was a little, some of the I guess metaphors for 4chan were a little
Those.
weird. I guess as
Yeah.
someone who knows of that, but I still really like that portrayal of Riddler, and I thought
Same.
Dano did amazing in it. I love the score in the movie. I was listening to some of the soundtrack after
I
we
love the
left.
theme, yeah.
Yeah, like I love the music that plays in that movie, and just how well shot it is. Like some great cinematography across the board. I just love how dark the movie is. I love that despite how dark it is, it very much treats itself as like it still feels like a Batman movie through and through. I think you guys were talking about this because you guys were mentioning that as soon as I got back. Like I dig that it's a more younger, inexperienced Batman.
Yeah,
Similar to I guess the cartoon that this movie is also named.
the
The
Batman
Batman
cartoon.
cartoon. It had the similar deal where I think Batman in that show was when it started. He was only like a year or two into his tenure as Batman, which I thought was kind of interesting that they both things called the Batman have a younger version of the character,
Yeah,
and I think ultimately, uh, when you get down to it, it's also just a really good detective thriller story. Like
that's what I really loved about it. They remembered Batman is the
is a
world-renowned
detective.
detective. Yeah.
There's not that much like of him fighting in this movie, surprisingly, but it's a lot of him solving like crimes and in this
Riddles
case
and all that.
riddles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and I dig that a lot because I mean, yeah, that was Batman's tagline. He's the world's greatest detective. So it's cool to have a movie where that's what he's doing primarily. Now,
And
granted, we
you,
do get some like action and combat, and they're great when it happens. Like that chase
yeah,
scene
I
with
was
the
I was gonna
Batmobile, that was
say
awesome.
when the action does come on, it feels like a reward because we're solving these mysteries alongside Batman as we go through this movie, and then when they get ready for the action scenes, it's a treat, dude.
Yeah,
Like
like
you just said, the chase scene and all that.
the chase scene is one of my favorites, and even just the regular fights were so cool, and just how I guess visceral is the way I would describe it. Like when he punches someone, you almost feel it. Like it sounds like it
Yo,
hurts.
dude, yeah, I was gonna say I saw this movie again in IMAX, and the fucking sound design, I really appreciate it in this movie
Yeah,
because whenever he punches somebody, you feel that shit.
yeah, I can imagine. Like this movie really probably it excels even further if you watch it in IMAX. It's just like it really comes down to I think when you combine all this, it really combines into one of its best strengths. I think is that it's a movie through and through. It just also happens to be a comic book movie. Like as much as I really liked No Way Home, and I guess we could talk about that in a future podcast or whatever if you guys really wanted to. I
No, we
love
can.
that movie a lot, and that surprises even me sometimes because I am someone who has become kind of cynical and just kind of stopped caring about the MCU. Like I don't really follow it anymore, and I don't watch the shows and the movies all that much unless I'm dragged to it by Lawrence and whatnot. I love No Way Home a great deal because part of it's because it fixes a lot of the issues I've had with MCU Spider-Man in the past. To the point where it felt like they were practically listening to me, specifically me, no one else, obviously. But I love that movie a lot, but it's very much you could still it still feels like an MCU movie in a way, in the sense that it very much is like it's there to like set things up for the future, and you do need prior knowledge going into it. Like you need at the very least Homecoming and Far From Home. Obviously, it also benefits if you've watched the Raimi trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man movies. It's it's a movie I really like, but it's very much still falls into the sort of MCU trap where you do need prior knowledge, and a, a part of the movie's purpose is furthering this franchise, if you will. And with the Batman, granted, I know they're working on spin-off TV shows, so I guess in a way it is sort of starting a franchise. But the great thing about this movie, compared to other comic book movies that are come out these days, like you could just go in completely fresh. You don't need to worry about movies you've missed in the past. It's not there to set up more of this big franchise for the most part. Like I said, they're working on TV shows. It's just a movie, a movie that happens to be a really good detective crime thriller, and
Yeah.
that's great. I love being able to just recommend this to anyone, not just comic movies, just people who want to watch a good movie in general. Especially like No Way Home. I'm like, I mean, if you don't care about MCU, and if you're not like, and especially if you've never really seen the Raimi movies or the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I don't know if I could really recommend people to like go out and see it. Like, oh my god, or whatever. Like, it's very much for that kind of audience.
It's
It's
fun. It's funny you say that because I literally know so many people who've never seen the original like Spider-Man movies,
Yeah,
and
I've
their
seen.
only Spider-Man is a Tom Holland Spider-Man, and they're just like, who are these guys?
Well, that's why I'm.
And I'm like,
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I've
why I
seen-
mentioned like
I've
if you're not
seen-
into the MCU, that's another factor. Like obviously, if you're into the MCU, you'll probably watch it because it's
I've
part
seen
of that.
reactions on YouTube where people are like they're being introduced to those other versions for the first time. Like
That
they-
makes me feel old.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but I do agree with what you're saying though. I do like the fact that you literally like, and that's something I also even really liked about like something like Gotham too. Is like you really didn't need to know anything walking in there into any of this. Like you could literally walk in and you'll just like it helps to know the stuff, right? Like obviously and maybe it helps, but you don't need to know. Like even Gotham, like they tell you who these people. They tell you, oh, what's your name? Oh yeah, it's my name is Ra's al Ghul or whatever, right? Like they tell you all that stuff, and there are arcs and stuff like that. So even in this movie, it's like you find out that they really start fresh with the Riddler and the Penguin, but they don't even tell you that that guy's a Penguin. For a while, they just say my name's Oswald Cobblepot or whatever. But then there's like his crime name is like the Penguin. They tell you that later in the movie, so it's
And
like
then when the Joker comes in, he's like, "I'm the Joker, baby."
and that's also I think another thing is that we were drawing parallels to the Joker movie that came out, or like it's actually a really good follow up. I know they're not connected.
Well, it's not in the. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not
I
in the
know
same
they're not
thing.
connected,
Yeah.
but like it's a really
like
good
if it was
follow-up.
connected, it would be. Yeah.
And I feel like that's another thing is that like you feel like they're really trying to like rectify a lot of what they've done to Batman in the last decade, pretty much.
Well, what did they do to Batman?
They fucked him up.
How?
Affleck.
He's referring to the Zack Snyder.
I mean, Affleck
series
wasn't
movie.
bad.
No. He's a great Batman, but the story he was pulled into was a horrible story. I'm sorry. You know.
Oh,
Where's
Batman v
Martha?
Superman. You mean?
Where's Martha? Why do
Why'd
you
you
know
do
that
that
name?
Yeah.
Oh my God, my mother is alive.
Why'd you say that name? I was like, bruh.
I love that. Because when you think about your mom, you think about her first name. Like you don't go mom, you go Martha. Like that's just that was a little weird to me.
Yeah, but and it does kind of connect to the way that the DCU or whatever it is, they're calling it the Batman like extended universe or something like that, right? What is it called?
The Batman extended universe.
No, there's an actual name for it. Like they're creating, like you said, like they're kind of setting up a franchise based on just this.
Yeah,
one
for
film.
this movie,
What's
well,
the
they're
name of
setting up
the
like
universe?
TV series. I don't know if there's a name. Please don't give it a name. Not everything needs a
No,
name.
it has a name already, but that's why
They're
I'm
trying-
asking.
DC is trying really hard not to use cinematic universe in their names.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Ray, do you remember the name that they're using?
No, I don't.
Oh, man, I already forget what it.
At least it's not.
I don't know.
Whatever it is, I hope it's not a dumb name like Sony's like Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man universe or whatever shit it is, or like the SpongeBob universe. Like we really need a universe for
The Bob
SpongeBob.
Esponja universe. yeah.
Bob Esponja.
I mean,
Who lives
damn.
in a pineapple under the sea? Bob Esponja, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I forget, but anyways, they right now the name is called it's a Batman focused shared universe separate from the DCEU.
Interesting. All right.
I really don't remember like I've seen like a lot of articles that already were talked about it.
Or we could just call it the Battinson universe.
Oh
Yeah.
here wait.
Pattinson's
Here it is, the
Patman.
Batman universe. It's called the Batman universe.
There you go.
Or
Rip
also
the TV
it's called
show.
the Batman universe, also known as the Batverse.
The
The
Batverse. There
Batverse.
you go.
Um,
Because everything needs to be a universe.
Batman's latest invention. The Batverse.
and it is opposite to the DCEU known as Earth 2.
Earth 2.
Yeah.
If Earth 1 is so good, why isn't there an... Oh,
Earth
never
2.
mind.
Yeah, like, I guess, yeah, going back to it, I really, like, I don't know, I
Earth
enjoy
2.
I think that, you know, that was kind of one thing I also really enjoyed. It's just the fact that we can anyone can walk into this
Well,
movie,
this one.
and feel kind of, you know, okay with I don't know these characters. Well, they're gonna tell you. That's actually really cool.
That's
But yeah,
Batman right there. Right there. That's him.
Whoa.
Eric, go ahead and finish your thoughts unless you want to give it to Ray. I don't know.
Nah, I'm done. I
Oh,
said
okay.
all I want to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said it best. Like, probably the best Batman movie we have gotten, not only just in a long time, but just in general. Like, it's just a really good film. It's a really good, like, detective drama. A lot of noir vibes to it.
Batman
Uh,
also has a character arc in that
he
movie,
has
which
a
is not
character
something you
arc.
see every day.
Yeah. Um, you really feel attached to the characters, and I really like that the mystery in this movie is just, it keeps going and it just really keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it keeps you guessing for like all the time that you spend there. And again, it is a 3-hour ride, but it's a really good 3-hour ride that has a very satisfying payoff by the end. And like Eric said, I really liked Riddler in this movie. It's a much different take from what we're used to, but I feel like any take is better than what we got from like the Jim Carrey version like way back.
Hey, I
And
like that movie.
Hey, that's a
I
really good Riddler, man. Okay.
and y'all are being like
Okay, well, all I said
really
was, "Hey,
defensive.
I like
I
that
didn't even
movie."
say it
Don't...
was a bad Riddler, but I'm just saying like, that
No,
was that was the beginning of like those movies like just really going downhill
I like that
if
you're
you
grouping me
remember.
into it now. All I said was, "Hey, I like that."
No. I mean, he was a good Riddler in that, but I mean,
But
looking back on it now, it's like, yeah, for that kind of tone that they originally set up for
yeah.
those series of movies, it is kind of like out there if you like just really think about it. Like if it was any other kind of Batman movie, then yeah, definitely.
Was that the
But you
last
guys go.
Riddler?
I think that was the last
I mean,
Riddler
for
in
movies,
in
yeah.
film. Yeah, because
That
I
was
don't
the
remember him showing up
first.
in the
That was the
Nolan
first and
films.
only Riddler, right?
No, I think he was. I think wasn't he in the
Besides,
'60s movie too?
oh yeah,
Because
and
there was an
besides the
Adam
one
West
Oh,
in,
yeah,
Batman
yeah, yeah.
movie.
You're right. I think he was in that.
and
Yeah.
besides the one in obviously in Gotham, which is
Man, you and this Gotham show.
no,
Why don't
it
you
was
marry it?
good.
Jesus.
You know what it is. Maybe I was also trying to draw parallels
Kane
between the.
K is just at the wedding, like, patting its
Oh my
tears away.
god, the one, the Riddler that's in Gotham, I think was also like. I don't know. Maybe I found myself trying to draw parallels between the two, and I was just like, "Damn, the one in the movie is just like way more badass than the one, um, than the one that in Gotham." Because the one in Gotham sometimes seems like a wuss. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, yeah.
Riddle me this.
It's not really a physically intimidating character in general.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he was never, but in this one, he really
I mean,
like,
he's played by Paul Dano. Does Paul Dano scream physical intimidation to you?
he screams madman. So,
Eric, it's so funny you brought up Paul Dano screaming because I thought like sometimes that was the funniest like moments of the movie whenever his character just started screaming. Like I'm trying to hold back laughter like deep down. It's like, oh, this was not supposed to happen. I had it all planned out.
no.
I
Yeah.
think the
No.
the only like real blemish I have with that movie, honestly, is a part of me kind of groaned at the ending in the sense that there's a very strong hint as to who that inmate that Riddler is talking to is, and it's just kind of like, oh boy, here we
It's
go,
okay. We
another so and
already
so.
spoiled it, so it's okay.
Okay, yeah. I was like, oh boy, here we go, another Joker, of course, because
Yeah.
there's no other Batman villain ever. That's
I was
No.
so, I was
Fucking
really
Arkham.
upset. I was actually really upset about that reveal because they really kind of just threw it like at the. I'll be honest, it did kind of like it was okay, but it also kind of felt like they were just kind of throwing at the wall, see if it stuck. But I'm also kind of like I'm glad that the actor is like he's like a pretty good character. Sorry, really good actor. But I
he's not a
think,
person; he's a character, apparently.
but I think my one problem with it was the fact that like we already had a really good Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. Why can't we just use him?
My my thing is just like, I get it. Joker is the main
It's
Batman
the
baddie,
villain,
but
you
we have
know?
had so many renditions of Joker at this point that
Yeah.
I would be fine if this universe just didn't cover him. Or if
Yeah.
they did cover him, just not even have him be a big focus. Just
Yeah.
be like, yeah, he's a villain that exists. He's there.
There, yeah.
Yeah, I did like that's a kind of one thing too is I did want to see him like I'm glad that they didn't use Joker as like the main villain. Like I do want to see Batman fight villains that maybe he hasn't fought like on screen before, Killer Croc or um Polka Dot Man. I'm not I'm kidding.
Why that one specifically?
I'm just throwing villains out there, but
Clue Master.
Condiment King.
Condiment King. No, I really did want to see. Like, I want to
The
see.
Music Meister.
I want to see
Robert
a new,
Pattinson.
Oh my
a
God.
new
Singing.
Mr. Freeze. You know, like the last time we had Mr. Freeze was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like I want to see that, or like
You can't use that word.
use what word?
Stop.
Use
Stop.
what word?
Stop. Stop.
I'll explain the joke to you.
Move on.
No, I really, I want it like. That's what I want to see in the future. Like I want to see Killer Croc, or I want to see
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm with
Freeze.
you on
I
that.
don't want like
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
okay with the Joker, like I am, but like I feel like every single time we've ever done Batman, I get it. He's the main villain. It's always Joker. How many Jack Nicholson,
I will say,
Heath Ledger.
I will say, credit to the Nolan films. They only use Joker for like one movie, even though he's
Well, I
probably
mean,
the
it's
most
because
iconic
Heath Ledger
part of
passed
it.
away, sadly.
There's that too, but like at least he wasn't like a focus for like all three of those movies. And then
I think he was
also,
supposed to appear in Rises, though, right? It's just that with Ledger's
oh
passing,
really? I didn't know that.
I think
I
yeah, I
thought
think
he
he
was.
because he wins. Obviously, we all know he wins at the end of the second movie. So like,
Spoiler, jeez, it's only been 14 years.
yeah, well, too bad. So I'm literally sitting there like, technically, if he wins, he's technically supposed to show up in the next movie. But
Well, he's alive. That's the big thing. Like, we
yeah,
know he's still alive.
yeah. So, but
Well,
obviously we know he dies. So like it's his
He
the
being
actor.
the actor, you should probably be specific. I just said we know
Well,
he's alive,
at
and then you
the
go,
same
"Whoa, he
time,
dies." It's like, all right.
at the same time, like with the point I wanted to make, I feel like the biggest like issue is that I think Arkham partly has something to do with it. He really became like a huge unnecessary part of that starting after the second game, because like we
Oh
really did
God,
not need him
dude,
to be the
yeah.
villain in Origins, and then
I mean, I
Arkham Knight
get
is
him
like
being the main villain in Asylum. Like, it's fine. It works.
Asylum and
Although
City
the
kind of,
final boss
yeah.
fight is kind of fucking dumb.
Oh, in
It's really
Asylum,
dumb.
yeah, when he becomes
Yeah.
the fucking Hulk or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he gets like injected with Titan. And Arkham City, I was kind of annoyed because it was very like it was essentially two stories crammed into one because it featured the Joker, but then there was also the whole subplot with
Yep.
Hugo Strange, and then if you
Yeah.
count in Catwoman, there's the whole subplot with
Yeah,
Two-Face.
the Catwoman.
Like
and,
they
yeah.
really stretched Finn, the villains in
And
that
then
game.
and Scarecrow also still has his Scarecrow levels and stuff like
Well,
that.
no,
Fucking
not in
rip
Arkham City.
trophies.
Oh wait, really? No, there's a Scarecrow level. No.
No, in Arkham City, he's still like there's an
Wasn't he?
Easter egg to hint that he's around, and obviously he
Wasn't he?
becomes
Yeah,
the main
he was
villain
only
in
in the
Arkham
first one, I
Knight.
think.
But
Wait,
Huh?
really?
He played a big role in the first one, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, no,
but
he
not in the
did.
second.
Not the second one.
Wait,
No,
is he really not in the second one?
No, there's only like an Easter egg where you go to this dock, and then you use like your decoder to like unlock the door on the boat, and you find like an inmate that's clearly been like experimented on with his fear toxin. So that's a hint that he's still around, but he's not in that game. And
Huh.
obviously, the hint is to hint that he's going to be the main villain in Arkham Knight.
Damn, I guess I completely forgot. I guess because I was like, I guess he wasn't in the beginning of that game. Maybe that's a Mandela effect within my own head that like I remember playing a Scarecrow level at the beginning of Arkham City.
That's Arkham Knight.
Oh,
That's what you're remembering.
I didn't play Arkham Knight.
Are you sure? Because it starts
100%.
with a Scarecrow level.
No, definitely didn't play Arkham Knight.
Then you're just imagining games at this point, dude. What the hell?
I
There's
really
no
don't know.
scarecrow level at the beginning in any of the first two in I guess first three if you count Origins. But there is one in Arkham Knight, and then you're saying, "Oh, I never played that one." So what the hell are you remembering then?
I really don't remember. But yeah, no, that's kind of something that I was also thinking of. Yeah, interesting. Anyways, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
but yeah,
I mean, I'd
Fun
like to
fact,
see that. To see, I feel like even in the Arkham games, Joker. I mean, the Joker in the Arkham games is really good. I feel, but
I mean, it's Mark
except
Hamill, so
yeah, I
yeah.
mean obviously, but like but until we get to that one at the end with the Hulk, I'm sorry, Titan Joker. I'm just gonna call him the Hulk, but um, it's
What
like
a
man.
crossover.
But then Arkham City and I like from what I've played so far is like pretty decent.
I mean,
But
it's
yeah,
fine. It's just I really think they stretch the villains out super thin in that game. I mean, there's a point where I forgot about the Hugo Strange plot line until they bring it back up
yeah,
later on. I was like, oh right, that's still a thing, and that's a big thing because he knows his identity. That's man. Maybe they should not have injected this many new villains in this game and try to like give
yeah.
them equal screening. And then Arkham Knight,
yeah.
admittedly, I haven't played, so I can't say anything. But I do know that sadly, he's Joker's in that one too. So
Apparently that
just
game is still buggy as hell, right? Did they fix it?
no, it can't be. But at this point, they must have fixed it because it's been like fucking 8 years.
You just never fix it.
Maybe the
um,
PC version is still buggy, but I doubt the console versions are.
do you have Arkham Knight?
I have it. I on PS4, I guess 5 now. I played a bit of it and it seemed fine, but I just didn't keep going.
Oh,
But I have it, yeah. I mean, maybe one day I'll go back to it. I'm not in any
Mm.
rush really.
Fun
But
fact,
yeah.
by the way, in regards to like, you know, the Batman movie, um, and shout outs to AVGN James Roll for pointing this out in his review. This is the first time since the 60s Batman movie that we've had Riddler, Joker, and Penguin alongside Catwoman and Batman all together in one movie.
oh
Well, yeah,
shit.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Granted, Joker's in it for like 2 minutes, but yeah.
He's in it for 2 minutes, but he's at least there. So
Hey, you know
Uh,
what? That's still good to me.
here's
he,
another fun fact that I was gonna mention earlier.
yeah.
Did you know that Nolan actually originally had plans to use the Mad Hatter in his movies?
Oh,
I think I heard about that, yeah.
really?
Yeah, that's why Mad Hatter does not appear in the Batman cartoon. Because I don't know if you remember, there was the whole
Because
bat
the
Yeah.
embargo
movie
thing.
rights, yeah.
Yeah, like Warner Brothers was like, it would be too confusing if we have too many like of the same character and all these different properties.
See
So
Dude,
essentially,
Joker.
it's
that
like Robin is only allowed in Teen Titans. Paul Dano. Nolan was planning on using Mad Hatter, so Mad Hatter couldn't be used in the Batman cartoon. That's why Robin shows up in that cartoon in like season 4 because before that he was not allowed
right.
since Teen Titans was still going.
So, and do you
That
guys
thing,
actually think they would put Robin in like a sequel film or no?
I don't know.
to be
Maybe.
honest, I'm not sure, but it's not I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility, it just matters on like
I mean,
how
it's
they
the literal
introduce it.
most popular like sidekick ever, I would say.
He is the
So,
sidekick.
like, yeah, he's the comic book sidekick. So
Keeps
it's
getting
not,
cruel.
yeah, like Ray said, it's probably not out of the realm of possibility. But currently, I don't know if I could see it.
Fair.
I feel like when they do that, I want Batman to like have more experience because I feel like throwing the responsibility of like raising and training Dick Grayson,
A child.
just like while he's still trying to become Batman himself, it might be a bit too early.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm a little unsure. But it's Robin. It's
Unless
the
they
most famous
decide,
sidekick. So
unless
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
they
yeah.
maybe.
decide because of the whole obviously Gotham is trashed by the end of the first movie, in the Batman shared universe. Um, so like I would think maybe there's some sort of time skip. I don't know, just my thoughts. my thinking.
In your time skip.
There's probably going to be a time skip because
I mean, I don't know.
that
We'll
city
see.
is far from gonna be like. I doubt they're
Nah,
gonna
it'll be
be.
fixed in like 2 days. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure. That was interesting. Um, but yeah, Ray, did you finish up your thoughts or?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, good movie, well worth the 3 hour watch. I really like that it's just like a mystery movie that's, packed with really good, very well directed action scenes. Riddler is like a really cool, genuine threat. I really love a
Yeah.
lot of the like, twists and turns in there. Again, I highly advise listeners to go check it out on HBO Max right now. But yeah, well worth the watch.
Good. Yeah, and I think one other thing that I really enjoyed, and Eric brought this up before, that like this movie kind of reinvigorates the fact that Batman is actually the world's greatest detective. Like
It's detective.
I feel like that, and that's something he also brought up a while back, is that like people tend to forget that Batman was a detective before he was before he's a crime fighting like superhero.
Fighter beating the shit out of
Vigilante.
people.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's literally he is a detective, and you get to see
You
that
watch
side of him.
Batman versus Superman, you do not get that shit at all in that
No, you
movie.
don't. You don't, and that's something that's interesting. Even in the first, even in the Christopher Nolan films, you don't really get to see he's a detective. You get to see he's a vigilante. Like he's working towards a certain end goal of like trying to keep the city safe. But here, you're like there's a mystery that he has to solve. Jinkies, right? Like it's actually really cool.
I
And
get it. Yogi Bear. Funny.
Oh my god.
and so it's like I think that's actually really cool. It's a really good take on it because again, you don't really get to see that often, and so it's interesting. I think if you ever get the chance, like
I love that you fucking mentioned Batflick in the first place. Like I said, I think Ben Affleck was actually pretty good for the material he
as
had.
a Batman,
But
he
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
great.
I
He's good.
honestly completely forgot about that rendition at this point.
Yeah. Because he tries his best to separate himself from it. He's in the news right now because they want him to play Phil Knight, the founder of Nike,
Phil
and
Nye the Science Spy.
Oh my gosh.
they're making a film. It's him and I forgot the name of the other guy. They're making a film about how Phil Knight was trying to sign Michael Jordan to Nike in the 80s. Like it's Ben Affleck's writing the script and everything for it. Which I mean, if we all remember, like surprisingly, like I keep forgetting, Ben Affleck is a really talented he's a
Yeah,
talented
he's a
director.
director. I mean, he's obviously been an actor too, and for longer. But yeah, he for a while he was doing like directorial stuff.
Yeah, he did Argo, which
Yep.
it's a pretty decent film. Like I actually enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
From from a history perspective, there was a lot of maybe a few inconsistencies, but that's not that's either here nor there for me.
You could hear the eye twitch from here.
But from what I understand, Ben Affleck's a really talented director, so I'm excited to see what they do with it. I feel like, to be honest with you, if Ben Affleck was given the job to direct or produce Batman, like his own Batman film, and he stars in it, I feel like he would have done a decent job. That's
For
maybe
sure.
like
I was one of the people
you
that
know,
wasn't mad when they announced he was going to be Batman all those years
yeah,
ago in like 2013 because I'm like, I don't know, he looks the part to me. Like he looks
yeah,
like he could pull off a Bruce Wayne,
yeah.
and he's not a bad actor, so I don't really get what the whole hubbub was about.
And when they revealed the suit and all that, I was like, yo, Ben Affleck's gonna look tight in this. And then when
Yeah, literally, those ass cheeks are probably just
and then when
bacon fair.
when the movie came out, and I remember that was the day we went to the Central Park Rock. When the movie came out,
Taking back to that very day.
it just became like infamous.
Yeah, we couldn't see that movie because it was just selling out everywhere.
Yeah, and
It is no
then many years
longer
later,
possible to
Isaac
watch
got
the
it
Batman vs
for me
Superman movie tonight.
as a birthday gift.
Man, Ben Affleck is gone from that universe. Henry
Yeah.
Cavill is gone from that universe. Uh, Ezra Miller is
Ezra Miller
apparently a
got arrested.
psychopath. He's been arrested like 2 or 3 times now.
Hey man,
Oof.
his pronouns
Not
are
good.
their
People
pronouns
were
are they and
people were
them.
joking.
By the
People
Who?
were
way.
joking.
Ezra Miller.
Thinks he's
Oh,
people were
it's they and them. My
Yeah.
apologies then.
I
People were
literally just found this
joking.
out too, so.
People were joking. Ezra Miller must think that they're the Reverse Flash right now.
Maybe.
I was like,
Uh,
bruh, like, he just showed up on. Sorry, they really just showed up on my timeline, and they were like, yeah, Ezra Miller's films and all of his cameos are pretty much going to be canceled for the next year and a half. And I'm like, are you serious?
Even though that Flash movie was supposed to be like a really huge deal for that universe.
Yeah, I know.
I
They were
guess not
basically
anymore.
they were basically
Especially,
doing a Flashpoint level event.
yeah, especially after what we've heard, like, I mean, after the fact that the Arrowverse really sucks, like, we were just all like, well, it's kind of refreshing because Ezra Miller is actually a pretty decent, um, rendition of Flash, and then he just, sorry,
And then he pulled the rug under you.
they just decided that they didn't give a shit anymore or something. I don't know the circumstances behind their arrest, but I mean, yeah, suddenly they're just all over my timeline, as in like, yeah, he's in trouble. Sorry, they're in trouble, and they're not gonna. They're
Warner
delaying all
Brothers
their
is probably
movies.
shitting their pants right
Yeah,
now.
that's why they delayed so many of the movies.
They're scrambling, yeah.
Because of that.
Oh wow. Man, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, they got out at the right time then. And I mean, they both seem to be doing well because Henry Cavill's doing Witcher and also being like the ultimate Chad. Because I
He's
like how
such
he.
He is such a
Oh,
good Geralt, by the way.
huh?
He is such a good Geralt, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's good. Granted, I have not kept up with that show, but I thought he was pretty good as
Yeah.
Geralt, yeah, of Rivia. And I like that he's just so open about all his geeky and nerdy interests. Even on like talk shows, he talks about how he's super into Warhammer and stuff. And I will also, to get gay for a second, he's like the hottest fucking guy ever. Honestly,
Nice.
I'm just putting that out there. Like, if I were to go gay for someone, it'd be for Henry Cavill. Have you seen his
Nice.
muscles and stuff?
Yes.
Like, that dude is insanely good looking. It's wild. That I'm just saying.
Nah, it's fine. Like, honestly, is like a fantastic actor. So I thought he was a really good Superman too. It just sucks that the material.
I mean,
like,
it's
he was
something where like
given-
I can't blame him because it's
I
like
can't. Yeah, I can't.
that
You can't
Superman
blame
is just
those
not
actors.
well written. So
I think,
yeah.
kind of just, I guess, we've kind of just transitioned into the DCU as a topic, but, if you guys, have you both watched the recent
how about we
Suicide-
transition into the ending
Oh.
of this episode?
I was waiting for Eric to say it. at
How
some
about
point.
he just pulled how about you get some bitches? Pretty much. No. I'm not gonna talk too
Turned
long. I
into The Rock,
promise.
apparently.
I promise I won't talk too
I
long.
mean, we still have plenty to
How
talk
about-
about because we could talk about like No Way Home.
Famous last
later.
words.
We could talk
yeah,
about,
no way home. We're gonna save
I
it
could
for
talk
later.
about Great Ace Attorney
Lawrence,
a little
Eric.
bit.
Lawrence, Eric, DCEU. How about I see you with some bitches?
Oh my God, stop it!
Cinematic
So,
extended.
I won't talk too long. I promise. Have you guys seen the recent Suicide Squad movie yet? I know.
No.
Ray, you've seen it, right?
By the way, yeah, that new Suicide Squad movie by James Gunn, fantastic.
I like that you have to clarify.
Yeah,
I have to because they call it
new
the
one.
Suicide Squad.
the Suicide Squad, not just Suicide Squad. It's the.
It's like I love that you have to actively go. Not the one from like 2017 or whenever
Not
it came
Yeah.
out. Not that one.
And
Although Will Smith was the best part of that movie, though, I will say.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was. He was.
But
but
this new one, though, goddamn, like
it's really good.
James Gunn was like the best, pick for
Actually,
like this kind of material.
You know what? I apologize. We shouldn't say that about the old one, guys. It's an Academy Award winning film.
Best makeup or
Best
Fucking
Star
make
Trek.
it won best
Jared
makeup.
Leto.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna reference. Ray, it won it over Star Trek. Did you see the makeup in that Star Trek Beyond
That
movie?
was
It
a
was
slap
insane.
in the face.
I'm
Dude,
like,
not
what?
even
What
the
the
killer
fuck
croc that was
makeup?
in that movie compares to that.
But
Yeah, I'm like, the makeup on what? Harley Quinn? Like,
Eric, but
Joker.
if you actually have a chance though, you should really go watch that film. It's actually really good.
I cannot promise anything.
It's actually really good. And I know that doesn't mean a lot coming from me because I like a lot of things. So,
Wow. All right. Why are you putting yourself down? I didn't
oh,
say
because
anything.
I was the one that liked Iron Fist season 1 and season 2.
Oh
Okay.
my God. Ray, it's him at this point, right? Like it's not me. I've apologized and said I felt bad for how exaggeratedly mad I was at that show. And
Oh
it got
my
to the point
god.
where when this guy was like, you know what? When I look back on it, I was crazy for liking it. I start feeling bad. I'm like, God damn, I must have been an asshole like back then,
Oh
like
my
when I
god.
watched that. And now he just keeps referencing it.
Anyways, if you do get a chance, it's actually really good. And they actually created a spin-off TV series which came out like a few months after it, based on Peacemaker, John Cena's character. It's really just
I
it's like
I was about to say, don't you mean Peace Walker? And I'm like, wait, that's the fucking Metal Gear game. Never mind.
but I haven't watched Peacemaker yet. I still have to. I just haven't had time to.
I will be honest with you. Anytime I see ads for that show, I keep thinking they're advertising The Suicide Squad, like the
Yeah.
movie. I didn't realize for the longest time it was a spin-off TV show.
Well, yeah, they
I'm
didn't.
not like I'm not even kidding. I was
Um,
genuinely confused
I'm
for a
not gonna
bit.
lie to you. The marketing was kind of shit for that show because it really just like it
Like I
was.
genuinely thought they were just still advertising the
Yeah.
movie for whatever reason.
The time
It took me
between
forever to realize it was a spin-off show.
Yeah, the time between when the movie came out and when that show released is so small that the marketing for that show was kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie to you, because all of a sudden, but it is still apparently one of HBO Max's like top-rated shows.
I mean, I'm sure
It
because I'm
got
sure
it
the
got
Suicide Squad was a
millions
big
of
hit, and plus
yeah
Peacemaker's played by John Cena, the one and
yeah
only,
yeah, and it was
and we
like
can see him.
Appar-
Had
apparently,
to-
every
he
single
had to make
episode,
himself visible to all humans for the
more
show
and
to be
more
good.
people were watching each and every single episode when it aired. Like when it went live on HBO Max, like they were saying that the ratings were like the ratings or the watch time was like really high, and it kept increasing with every episode, which is like really cool to think
Damn, brag
about.
about it, HBO Max.
So and I still have to go back and watch it, but I'm actually really excited for it. And like when I have the chance to do it. But I bring it up because I recently also watched the Harley Quinn animated show.
I
Um,
actually, as much as I am, this is why I said earlier, like I cannot promise anything because I genuinely cannot promise anything when it comes to superhero media these days because I'm just so not into it that much anymore. But I actually kind of want to watch that one,
it's
the Harley Quinn
so
animated
funny.
series.
I
It's
'Cause
really
I
literally.
hear
good.
it's really good, and I love
Yeah.
that one scene that got memed on for a while, the Joker and Bruce Wayne scene with
Bruce,
the electric car.
where's
Where's
my
my fucking
goddamn electric car, Bruce?
Where's my goddamn electric car? I'm like, it's
His
so good. It's so good.
his first reaction to like him unmasking like Batman like as Bruce Wayne, it's like it's not even just like, oh my god. Like first of all, it's him being pissed at like who was a Scarecrow that unmasked him
Bloody
for ruining
hell!
that.
Yeah.
And then afterwards his first instinct is a fucking customer complaint.
It's
How
just
you
so
invested
good.
money into that?
It's so good, and like the voice of for those that don't know, the voice of Harley Quinn is uh damn
Jessica Henwick,
Haley
Victoria Justice.
Haley
Haley
Cuoco.
Kuko
Yeah,
Okay,
I keep saying her name.
I was
from
close.
I don't
yeah.
want to confuse her with Haley Kiyoko, who's actually a singer.
That's
Haley
that's a French
Cuoco.
Penny
anime, right?
Yeah, Code Lyoko. Yes. No. So
Penny from Big Bang Theory, who
yeah,
she's actually in a HBO Max show right now.
yeah, flight
The
attendant.
flight attendant. Yeah.
Which
What's it about?
which
A flight
got
attendant?
yes, it's a mystery. But oh damn, they already came out with 2 episodes for season 2. I have something to watch. Yeah, so
Damn.
season they just renewed it. It was one of the launch titles for HBO Max. was the flight attendant, and I watched it when I first got it, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so Haley Cuoco actually voices Harley Quinn, and she does a really good job. Like I don't want to compare her to Tara Strong because Tara Strong I feel like still is like one of the pinnacle Harley Quinns out there, but she does a really good job. Like admittedly, and I think Ray could attest to it because he's seen it.
Yeah.
And I love the characters, their interactions with each other, like, and there's actual like character development, like between them. It's so good. It's so good, and even like one character, I'm not really gonna spoil anything, but Kite Man. Like from the first episode, you think that he's just a throwaway gag. Like he's just like Condiment King. Like he's not really like a super important character, but he ends up being super important by the end of the second season. That you're just like, wow, this guy really leveled up. So like, something to keep in mind for those that want to watch it. It's really good. Highly recommended. I think if you're trying to like consume Batman related media or any of that right now, I think or Suicide Squad related media, I would say check out that animated show. It's really good. Yeah.
Really good.
Alright.
Really good.
All right. So I'm not going to drone on much longer. I think we've killed. No, we haven't killed anyone yet. But
Yeah.
Yes.
um,
God damn, that could be taken out of
Planning on
context.
something?
so by the
How
time
long was this one?
by about 2 hours and 54 minutes. So actually not bad.
Alright.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus. Alright, end.
So
Before we get into an Iron Fist rant.
So
I did not realize we were almost 3 hours long. We're almost as long as the Batman. Oh, go watch that.
Oh,
Don't listen
yo.
to this.
Yo, this can be like a impromptu commentary for that if you overlay it.
I mean, we talked about it for only like
Yeah.
half an hour. I don't know if it's a comment. We're talking about Persona 5 Royal while you're watching the Batman.
That's why I said impromptu, because we're not actually talking over the movie, but yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
sorry.
yeah, I mean, if you guys ever get a chance to, honestly, like, go out of your way and like watch pretty much most of the things that we talked about. Not everything, but a lot of it. Everything was actually really cool. We had a good time today, and
Yeah.
I hope everybody is
Awesome.
also.
Better than K&K.
I hope everyone's looking
Okay.
forward to the upcoming season for
For Gotham.
the Inkling Bros. We're having a good time
We're
so
back.
far. We're back. We can't wait to
And
do our
then
next
We
episode.
can't wait to go on hiatus again for another
Oh
2
my
years.
god. So we'll be back in another 2 weeks from this episode, whenever this episode airs.
Preferably
so,
not on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do work, but either way, everybody, if you're at CPAC, come say hi.
Or
My-
don't. We're not going to force you.
Yeah. But fun fact, whoever the person was watching our podcast in the bathroom at CPAC 3 years ago, please come say
What?
hi. Anyways, everybody, my name
Shout
is
out
Royal
to you.
Duke Lorenzo. I am the Blue Squid here on the Inkling Brothers podcast.
My name is Ray, also known as Meatloaf Man. I am the Purple Squid on the Inkling Brothers podcast.
And I'm Eric.
And that's the Inkling Brothers podcast, everybody. See you guys next time.
Peace out.